Hey, remember me? It's Greg from Baseball and Whatever. How are you doing? Hey, that's great. We should do that sometime. Before we get this episode started, let me tell you about Belly Up Sports. Why, it's only the finest source to get your news on the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, fantasy sports, and more. Whether it's through forums or articles, or their extraordinary podcast network, Belly Up Sports has you covered. They are the Internet's sports bar. Visit bellyupsports.com and follow them on all social media platforms. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome to Baseball and Whatever with your hosts, Justin McAwee.
Because I was on campus and I had to appear like I was one of the cool kids, I would put the Star Wars book inside one of my textbooks so it looked like I was just studying for class.
All right, look. There's only one return, okay? And it ain't of the king, it's of the Jedi.
Greg Probst.
If you look at most Bond fans movie rankings, they have Casino Royale and Majesties in their top two. For me, these actually rank in the bottom part of my list. I mean, I love them, but they don't compare to Diamonds Are Forever.
Stop getting Bond wrong!
And Vincent Francis Jankowitz IV.
I'm a glorified fact checker.
Last I checked, the most runs in a game wins.
Actually, I am a fact checker.
Alrighty, here we go. It's Friday, episode 47 of Baseball and Whatever. We are back. I'm Justin. There's Vinny. There's Greg. This week, we have so much baseball talk. The hot stove is blazing. Greg has been burned by all the signings. I don't know, the White Sox, I guess they've done a few things, but we'll get into all those signings, all those trades, everything that happened this week. We also might have something funny to talk about with the Packers, which anytime we can rag on the Packers is a good day, as all of us are grieving Bears fans. And then after that, earlier this week, we recorded an interview with the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, their head of media relations and their head broadcaster, Sam Weiderhaft, I believe was his name. I'm always forgetting the mispronunciations of the last names. I feel awful. Sam, thank you so much for coming on, though. It was incredible. So if you are curious about what it's like to be a broadcaster, what it's like to be in the minor leagues, how they work with the major league clubs and all that good stuff, it was awesome. So we have about 45-minute interview. So check that out. If you are listening to us for the first time, thank you for listening. We are Baseball and Whatever. We do our first segment is primarily sports based, and then we switch to a pop culture segment, not a pop culture segment. Star Wars, movies, video games, TV, Bond.
Our first half is a poop culture. Yeah. Then we go to pop culture.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much.
So if you're listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for finding us. You can find us on YouTube. If you want to watch the video version, just search Baseball and Whatever, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can listen to us on any podcast app network, whether it's Spreaker, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, all that good stuff. Feel free to subscribe, like us, review us, whatever they offer on each of those networks. You can also find us on Instagram at Baseball and Whatever, Twitter at Baseball and What, Facebook.com/Baseball and Whatever. You can text us and leave us a voicemail at 1-913-808-3278. That number again is 913-808-FART. There we go. And lastly, if you'd like to email the show, you can email us at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com, or our official Belly Up Sports Network email is Baseball and Whatever podcast at bellyupsports.com. Don't forget, on the weekends, you can also find our show airing on the Belly Up Sports Radio, which is streaming online. And you can find us on the Belly Up TV Roku app channel network thing. It's pretty cool that we actually are on a Roku app network now, too. So check that out. I'm going to shut up now. We're going to talk about famous 47s first, though, before we get the show officially kicked off, because that's just what we do here. And we are on our 47th episode. So I will admit, I don't know any famous 47s. I'm sure there's one on the Cubs. I feel like I'm picturing a pitcher and I'm picturing him throwing, but I can't think of his name. So Greg, tell me why I'm misremembering.
The person you are thinking of has to be Scott Air, 47 on the Cubs.
That's it.
That's him. It's got to be. Vinny?
Yes, it is.
All right. That was the guy I was thinking of. What was it? 04, 05 he played or something like that? I don't know. 02. Who the hell knows?
It was 2006 to 2008.
Oh, okay. So a little bit early on that one.
Yes.
For the White Sox, my man, he's a coach. He's not a player, but Joe McEwing wears 47 from the White Sox. And he has
now?
for, what's that?
Is that now?
That's now, yeah. And then he gave it up 1 year for Gio Gonzalez. Remember when Gio Gonzalez was on the White Sox? But then he got it back. He's our third base coach, and he's got a great wave. If you watch Sox games and you see him waving the runner, home, he's flailing out.
Oh, okay.
He got two arms going?
Oh, two arms, and they're not like it's not like the traditional like
the windmill.
Go. He is just like he's like a wind turbine out there, just jumping along with it. I mean, he's like a shorter dude. I mean, I remember this guy playing too. He played with the Mets for a little bit. He was an infielder, but he's just losing his shit out there, and it's amazing.
Nice.
The other 47 I had for the White Sox was one of my favorite relief pitchers at the time, Mike McDougal. There's a name for you. So.
Good job.
That's all I have. I can't think of any others for the White Sox.
All right, let me go through the list on guys that might be Gregory Infante.
Oh, I know him. Yeah, I do know him. Yeah, I know the name. Yep. Relief pitcher.
Boy, not a lot here. Matt Karchner.
What year?
96 to 98?
No.
Nope. Tanyan Sturtzy?
Oh, I know Tanyan Sturtzy. Yeah, he was terrible. He's an ex-Cub, too.
Was he?
Yeah, that's another Cub 40. If he wore 47 with the Cubs, there's another one, Tanyan Sturtzy. He finished his career with the Devil Rays. He's like a 9 career ERA or something. Just awful. Sturtzy. I remember him.
Denny O'Toole, 1969 to 1970. Great name.
I know what he sounds like.
Right? Yeah, not too many other guys I recognize here.
All right. Yeah, we're getting to that point where it's going to be some of these numbers are going to be, slim pickings a little bit. So, and when we get to 50, there should be some good 50s out there, but yeah, when we get to especially when we get the 60s and 70s, especially with baseball, it's going to be rough. So,
yeah. All right. 47s for the Cubs.
Scott Air was all I had.
That's all I know.
Maybe Tanyan Sturtz. Yeah. If he was there.
When did he play with the Cubs? Do you remember?
Oh, it had to be before the White Sox, I think. Mid 90s, maybe. I don't know.
Do not see him there.
If he even played with, I swear he played with the Cubs, but maybe
maybe wrong. He did. But I have Rod Beck, 98 to 99.
Rod Beck.
Gotta love Rod Beck.
Awesome.
Brian Bugsevic.
Oh, Bogusevic. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
local. He's
funny story.
Guy,
my mom worked with his mom.
Really?
Brian Bogusevich, yeah.
I remember you told me that when I first met you, Justin.
That's
how we know. Baseball icebreaker right
Greg,
there. So.
I'm a little disappointed you don't have this one in your memory bank. Miguel Montero.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
What was the Twitter thing that he got going? Miguel Montero on Cubs. We are good. We are good, I think.
Did he start that?
I think he started that.
Really?
Yeah. For the Cubs,
did I miss Miguel Montero, World Series team.
Yes.
Adroyus Vizcaíno. Justin, you remember him coming up? Reliever.
Relief pitcher,
yes.
right?
Yes, I do vaguely.
Randy Rosario.
Oh, yeah. Another reliever.
Pitcher. Yep. I'm going to butcher this one. Hisanori Takahashi.
Vaguely.
Him?
Vaguely.
Angels. I think he's an Angels reliever, but yeah, played with the Cubs in 2013. Let's see here. I said Rod Beck. Let's go down the list here.
Oh God, Rod Beck.
Wait. What about another relief pitcher? What about you remember this name, Todd Van Poppel? He was 37.
Yeah, I remember him on the A's.
Was he?
I remember him on the A's.
Van Pop or Van Poop. So
Sean Boski, 90 to 94.
No, too early for me.
Too early. And nobody.
Who's wearing it now? Is there a guy wearing it now?
Adam Morgan wore it in 21. I don't know if he's with the team anymore.
Adam Morgan, I have no idea who that is.
He's a relief pitcher.
Is it 47 is like a reliever number, other than Miguel Montero, I guess. So,
yep, and that's about it.
That's
for
it for the Cubs.
Yep.
Bulls, I got nothing.
There is nothing for the Bulls. So good job, Justin. Blackhawks.
Usually anybody that's a 47, I would imagine, is either a prospect or somebody who got picked up off of waivers that isn't going to see much time. So I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, though. No, he was number 51. No, I can't think of anybody. All
right. I have Lucas Carlson.
Yes. I believe he was a defenseman. He's no longer with the team.
John Quinville.
Yes. Oh. He was a fourth liner, no longer with the team.
Martin St. Pierre.
Yes, he was a career AHL All-Star. Never really put it together in the NHL. I liked him though because he was like 5'7". He was my height. He was a very, very, very poor man's Patrick Kane. So much so that you might not recognize him as Patrick Kane.
Wasn't there another St. Pierre that was in the league?
There was Martin St. Louis, who was a Hall of Famer.
That's who it was. Yes, that's who I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah, but that's about it. Adam Bennett, 92 to 93.
No, that one does not ring a bell at
all. Yeah, Evan Brophy.
Yes, prospects didn't pan out. No longer on the team.
Oh, is he related to Nick Brophy from Slapshot?
I do not believe so. No,
drunk, got stinking shit face on the bus.
Yes, that is correct.
That's about it for the Blackhawks. I'm sure it's a bunch of the other couple names only played for a year, so I'm sure they're
a bunch of washouts. Nobody's, All
right, on to the Bears.
Oh man, I got a Hall of Shamer.
Oh boy,
it's got to be Chris Conti, right?
Oh god,
yes. See, I thought I couldn't remember if he was 47 or 41. But he was 47. So, yeah, a definite Hall of Shamer right there. Only one that comes to mind, too. You remember those guys. So,
can't forget them.
Yes. There's not a lot here for Bears. Justin, do you have any?
No.
Okay.
No, I
didn't tell you who
I didn't think so.
Now.
I really don't know too many on the list here. Even Xavier Crawford wore it last year. Doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't ring a bell at all.
There's 8 of them.
For the old timers, I have Johnny Morris, played from 1958 to 1967. He was went to Pro Bowl, All Pro team once, and won the NFL championship with the Bears. So, and then in 1977 to 1979, Mike Spivey. I'm sure I'm probably saying that last name wrong. It's Spivey.
No, that's right, because Junior Spivey, old Diamondback, had the same spelling. So
okay, well,
pretty sure it's Spivey.
Maybe it's Spivey. Who knows? He won a Super Bowl with the Bears, so or he won a Super Bowl, but not with the Bears. He wasn't on the '85 team.
Now, a lot of people have done that, won a Super Bowl, but not with the Bears. So
yes, yes,
I would argue that
many ex-Bears, yeah.
But yes, that's notable names for the Bears.
All right.
So, nice.
Very cool.
Man, cool.
All right. Well, as we mentioned earlier, we do have our text line, and we have one text that found its way in our inbox this week. Vinny, would you like to read this one from your mom?
Sure. Forgot to get in my remake on time. That was last week's whatever topic when we went through our favorite remakes we liked and remakes we didn't like. So forgot to get my remake on time. Looking through Google, the only one I know is Dumbo. I'm guessing didn't they do a live action?
Oh, they did a live action one.
They did.
All right.
With Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So yes, the only one I know is Dumbo, which that's not true. She's seen Ocean's 11. As a kid, I loved the cartoon version, but the new version with the actual actors was wonderful. I think my granddaughters don't agree with me because when I babysit them, I try to watch the new version, but they like the cartoon one.
Yeah, they
Is that
hate
true?
they hate the live action one.
Yeah.
So
Well, they're kids. Kids
Yeah.
like cartoons.
they do.
Also, the remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was not good as the original. Johnny Depp was too creepy.
It was weird
I think
in
we
that
can agree
movie.
on that one.
Quick note about the Dumbo. Actually, 2 penguins were in that movie. Dan DeVito and Colin Farrell were both in that movie. So
Oh,
look at
interesting.
that. That's where I'm taking. See, I'm putting a good twist on a bad movie, bringing it to Batman. So
There you go. it's I mean, I
I'm
think
not a
Justin can
Dumbo.
relate to that than you bringing it, to Bond. I'm sure you could do that though too.
oh, give me a second. I'll try. But
Right.
well, yeah, Eva Green's in it. Vesper Lynn from Casino Royale. So
Oh, okay.
you've gone
There
and
you go.
done it, Vinny. Look at the connection
Yes.
has been made.
Sorry,
So-
Justin.
That's all right. No worries. It's all good.
I'm not a Dumbo guy. Are you? I mean, I'm a dumb guy, but I'm not a Dumbo.
No.
I'll be honest. I don't think
am
I
a
ever saw the
Dumbo,
original.
but-
You never
What's
saw
that?
it, Justin?
I don't think I ever saw the original Dumbo.
Oh,
Erica
don't
never
tell
made
your
you watch
wife
that?
that.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she's gonna
have
make you watch that
now.
No interest whatsoever in writing.
Too late.
Yeah, it has
Uh-oh,
to-
don't
that's
say
right.
that out too loud.
There's a disclaimer now on Disney Plus. That kind of
Oh,
explains
because
the
it's so old and stuff.
the time, like some of the dialogue
Oh, yeah.
during the time.
Times have changed, yes.
which is fitting. So
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you, Lynn, for texting in. We do also have a couple of YouTube comments. Greg, tell us about the YouTube comments this week.
all right, getting back to Bond, our glucosamine chondroitin writes in. He comments on YouTube. I don't watch Bond films. I've heard your thoughts on Cavill's Superman and thought it would be funny to see his reaction, meaning my reaction. Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about Dr. Condom pining for Henry as Bond, but
No, stop getting Bond wrong!
exactly, you've just been SGBW glucose. So, but keep writing in. We love you. And he's like always the first one to write on our
He is.
stuff. So
It's nice to see.
we appreciate him very much.
Definitely.
Speaking of Bond and speaking of Batman, all of the universes coming together. Bill Koenig writes in on YouTube. Perhaps the greatest remake, The Maltese Falcon in 1941 with Bogart, Astor, Greenstreet, and Laurie. The first version was 10 years earlier. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. I know you and I, we were talking about it when we got together. So, but Bill knows. So I'm going to trust his judgment on that because he knows everything about film and television. So we're going to take your word for it, Mr. Spy Command. So
Awesome. We're gonna have to have Bill on again. He was such an awesome guest and just
He
an
is.
awesome guy
Great
in
guest.
general.
Great
So
guest.
we'll have to reach out to him again.
Maybe talk about the new Batman.
Yes.
Yeah. He was on Twitter. He was another like day one guy or Thursday night or something like that. So
I'm
all in on the
pumped.
Batman.
I'm going sometime next week while I'm off for the week for
Oh, good for you. Good for
I will
you.
I will sit there and read it. Man, what am I talking? Read it, watch it. Maybe I'll get a big bite.
Oh, don't read it.
I'm gonna ask them to put the subtitles on so I can read it too.
Right.
So I'm excited. Sometime next week I'm gonna go watch it. So should be good. But I guess now we can go to our hot takes and more importantly, Greg's hot takes. So let's go. Let's hit that.
Greg's hot takes.
Are you want to get nuts? Come on!
Hell yeah.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts!
All right. Well, the first thing we're going to mention in our hot takes this week is if you haven't listened already, Greg and Vinny's wife, Gretchen, put together an incredible birthday episode. I was lucky enough to join in. Greg and I talked and recounted the tales of Vinny's youth for over an hour and a half, I believe, which is now finally
Longest
on
birthday
YouTube.
pod,
I apologize for the YouTube delay. The audio has been up since last weekend. Check it out if you want to learn more about Vinny and the shenanigans he apparently got up to. We also brought him and his boss together, which is just really exciting. And I feel like that was a lot of fun too, right, Greg?
It was a lot of fun, especially. So wait. So I'm going to give you a chance to clear the air on any stories we told on this pod. But how was dinner with Kevin? Did that go
yet.
down? Haven't
No,
gone
it
yet.
hasn't happened yet.
Is
No,
this
not
like
yet.
is this like avoiding him like Michael Scott or something like that?
Like
No.
Andy.
No. No. We talked about it, but yeah, he said he would like to get dinner, but we haven't made any formal plans yet.
You're in with the boss. You could be partner at the accounting.
It's
firm.
not accounting. I work at a company.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's not a public accounting firm. It's a
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, I don't think that.
I think that's going the other way. Actually,
yeah.
I think he's trying to go this way.
I do have to ask though, Vinny, has anyone at your work asked you about the podcast now since we did this, or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Damn. All
I
right.
think my boss is the only one that knows that I do the podcast. I'm not in the office that much right now because of COVID. So
now we know where you work, Vinny. So
Right.
now we're gonna
Le
reach out to
Mans,
you.
not.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
reach
couldn't figure out how Le Mans. Sorry.
Le Mans.
Lehman's.
Lehman Brothers.
Yeah.
All right. So,
boy.
Did you want to clear?
Yes.
Did you want to clear the air on anything,
Yes,
Vinny?
yes, I
All
do.
right.
I first
The
want to
floor
thank
is
you
yours.
guys for putting that together, and thank everybody, Brian, Mike, Tim, Jeet, Zach, Jason, my Aunt Marie, Paula, my wife Gretchen, and my folks and you guys and sisters for putting that all together and bringing those stories out there. Man, there are a lot of embarrassing stories about me. That was, for someone that's a kind of guarded introvert, that was my nightmare. I had a panic attack listening to that. So thank you guys for shaving a couple years off my life.
hey, no problem.
But no, I
Anytime.
think the one story, they were all somewhat true. Most of them were true, but the one that everyone kept getting wrong was the car wars. I think Dr. Mantis brought that up first.
I believe that was the roadkill story, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yeah, the roadkill.
I mean, you can call it the car wars, but roadkill definitely gets to the point a little bit faster.
Car wars, roadkill. Okay, I need to.
I didn't even know what you were saying when you said car wars.
See, there we go. There we go.
Roadkill. I know exactly what the story is.
Okay, the roadkill story. I was brought in. The car wars was between Zach and somebody else during that summer. I was brought in at the 11th hour that night with the roadkill. Did not pick up the roadkill on the street. I did not touch the roadkill that night. I thought that was disgusting.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But no, yes, I was there for that. So, yeah, I was there. Wasn't the ringleader, as Erica had made it sound like, or the one that was partaking in the multiple car wars events, as Dr. Mantis had made it sound like. So, no, I was not there. And the reason that we the confessed is because one of the people, there were four of us there, and one of the persons before that was,
you mean one of the accomplices, correct? Not one of the persons.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Just making sure. Okay.
That was there, left evidence behind, and he had I wouldn't call it priors, but he had been booked already that summer by the Freeport's Finest, and so his fingerprints were on file. So we were, in our minds as high schoolers, panicking, thinking like the police are going to take the time to dust for fingerprints
and roadkill.
Grab fingerprints off bottles and whatever stuff we had at the time that he had left behind. And that the incident where he got nabbed before that and fingerprinted was the airsoft gun. Erica had told you guys about the airsoft gun story where we had cops called on us. I was not there that night. I was there prior when we were playing, but I left, and then this group went out and did something completely stupid and got busted by the cops, and then brought into jail and got fingerprinted. So I was not there for that. I was smart enough to stop playing and not go back into town where there was a gun ordinance where they got busted for that. So yes, Erica got that story completely wrong. And the car wars roadkill story was manufactured wrong in so many minds. I don't know how I got picked as the ringleader and was the person grabbing the roadkill and throwing it on the car. That was not me, but yeah.
Sounds like you were set up to be the fall guy or something.
It does sound like
they were going to pin it on you or something. I don't know.
You know,
Good thing you got out of it.
I might have been that. Maybe that's why I was brought in at the 11th hour. It's just the patsy, the moron. Oh, we're going to pin it on him.
He's the Oswald.
Right? Most likely. But
Right.
the stories were great. Very embarrassing stories. So thank you everybody for making me blush while I was driving in the car listening to that.
I'm glad it made you blush. So we
Yeah.
set out to do what we set out to do. And when I think I said, well, we got 18 total pages, and we'll definitely have to share that document with you, Vinny.
Okay.
So you can so you have that for your memories, for your scrapbook, all that stuff you're into. So anything else to get off your chest about the birthday pod, or did we
I think you guys did a great job with
All
that.
right.
So thank you.
Thank
you
you.
got
Thank
it.
you for
You
supplying
got
so
it.
much material, Vinny.
Yes, I was
Appreciate it.
I was so happy. It's like I figures like we need to reach out to as many people as possible. That's why I got Gretchen involved, and she was freaking out about the whole boss thing too. So
Yeah.
I was like, just give me the email address. That's all you have to do. Like, no, you don't have to say it's me. You don't have to say you had anything to do with it. Your secret's safe with me. But
Well,
she
she
played
asked
along.
me at work. She asked me at work what his email was, and I just thought it was weird, and so I just told her without really
Yeah.
thinking, and never really asked her again about it. But it was just like, she's like, it's not on the website. I'm like, well, of course not. But I was like, oh, whatever. But the thought crossed my mind: is she gonna ask him to like let me have days off of work or something like that? I'm like, oh God, please don't complain to my boss that I'm working too much. That's not gonna look good.
Well, I would
but
have.
yeah.
I would have. If I ended up being, I would be like, "Hey, you got to take away a couple of vacation days, man. He's slacking." So, like, hey,
Well,
what
good thing
happened
you
to my
didn't
two?
reach out.
Right?
To him.
Exactly. So, all fun and games. Of course, we had a great time doing it, and if you haven't checked that out, please do. It's a fun time with a lot of good stories.
Sure.
One of the things I wanted to get to, guys, is I know I've been saying it, but I've actually done it. I have gotten rid of Netflix.
Look at this guy. Wow.
It's gone. It's history. The contract expired yesterday, actually. So Ashley wanted to finish one movie on it. It was, I don't remember what it was called, and she was really looking forward to see it. So she finished it at the deadline and said it was just okay. And that kind of sums up Netflix production to a T. So now I've switched my Disney bundle to Hulu, Disney, ESPN.
Good
so
choice.
I just reallocated those funds to something else. But not $15 a month, and I know there's some good like shows on there and stuff, but I just wasn't using it that much. So are you guys still on the Netflix or?
Yeah, Erica watches it. Yeah, Erica watches a ton of stuff on Netflix. So that's
that's why. I mean, if I watch more stuff on it, absolutely I keep it. But I got the Seinfeld DVDs. Justin, I did your advice. I DVR'd it on YouTube TV. It's like almost full already. So I think it's just going to be, I don't want to pay that Seinfeld convenience charge.
No, it's not worth
forever.
it. It's not worth it. So
yeah, that's that with Netflix, at least for now. So we'll see until the wife makes me buy it back again. So Justin, I wanted to ask you, I misunderstood a text from you the other day. I thought you were going to be playing Gran Turismo 7. So the way I interpreted the text, you sent me a picture of the game. And like, look, it's been 7 days. So I interpreted that, oh, Justin's opening it after 7 days on its shelf.
Nope.
Then I thought, oh, lightweight, I'm like the Joe DiMaggio of unopened game records right here. It's going to take a long time. But no, it's actually still in the plastic wrap. Is it not, Justin?
It is still in the plastic wrap. It is still sitting next to the computer this computer, when I bring it back upstairs, it's still sitting there. I have not had any time to play video games. Both Erica and Maddie are sick again this week. So no, I am on spring break next week. So maybe we'll get some racing in or not. We'll see. Probably not. No,
you got Batman to watch.
I do.
And the boys.
Right. And
the
boys.
boys to watch too.
I will give both of those a shot. One more than the other, most likely. But yeah, so I got that. The other thing I wanted to ask, and this is random, I just added this, and this is really dumb. So at school today, or at work, I should say, myself being one of the more middle of the pack teachers now, which is depressing for a whole other reason. I'm not one of the younger guys anymore. two of the new teachers are in their early 20s, mid 20s, and we were talking about what our apparel, our attire is outside of school. And when the conversation of cargo shorts came up. Now, I will preface this: in college, high school, I wore cargo shorts all the time because I didn't know there was this negative connotation with them. And then I'd say about 3-4 years ago, I started buying, I don't know, what are they called? Like the chino khaki shorts. Is that what they're called now?
Yeah.
And I wear those. However, I said, what is so bad about khaki shorts? Well, let me tell you, the 20-something generation thinks it's a complete sin to wear cargo shorts. So I wanted to ask, as both of you guys being early 30-year-olds, where do you stand on cargo shorts for guys?
Go ahead, Vinny.
You know the saying on cargo
Yes,
shorts,
I do.
right?
I do know what the saying is. Yes.
Well, that should be all that you need to know about that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
right.
Actually, I think I have a pair of cargo shorts that I wear.
Right.
Like it's like a junky pair when I'm like doing
like
work
with holes and paint on them and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's
and
what.
Actually,
Go ahead, Vinny. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, funny story. I guess one time I made fun of Dr. Mantis so much about him wearing cargo shorts that he changed his entire wardrobe and got rid of all his cargo. Supposedly, this is what I'm told, but I don't recall the situation. I think I might have had too many drinks that night or something. But that's what everybody tells me. So yes, that's where my deep dark truths come out, I guess, and about cargo shorts when I start drinking. So don't be wearing those around me when I'm drinking.
Good to know. I'll keep my one pair I have at home. Greg, what about you?
With cargo shorts, I hate cargo shorts.
Do you really? Okay.
I despise them because I only like athletic shorts that say Nike or stuff like that. But I will say this: cargo shorts is what I wear at work.
Okay.
Because that's what
makes sense.
Number one, the district supplies me as work attire, so I have to buy my own clothes. And number two, I am carrying a bunch of crap. I'm carrying multiple.
You need the cargo,
right? I'm carrying the Leatherman. I am carrying multiple knives. I'm carrying my IDs on my belt. Sometimes I have, like a radio or something like that. That's usually in the off position anyway. So if you're trying to call me, don't bother. I've got 2 phones. I've got, my wallet, phone, wallet, keys, and I got all that. So I need that. And I hate wearing belts too.
Oh, really?
I have to wear a belt.
Really?
So with the cargo shorts, I'm not a belt guy. So, but I dress like a 10-year-old in shorts and t-shirt. I hate wearing socks. I hate wearing shoes, and I don't like not wearing a hat. So, I mean, that is the way I dress. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask. So I probably need a whole wardrobe overhaul.
Okay.
So I can dress more of my age. But you may have to ask you advice from you guys or something. Send me some links to some stuff I should buy. So
okay, so I was just curious because I don't know where this. Like, I remember when I was in high school, everybody wore cargo shorts, and then all of a sudden there was just like this switch was flipped, and it was like, no one wears those. Those are untrendy anymore. So, on a side note,
Maybe when Superbad came out.
Yes, I think that's what kind of caused it. Yeah. So I don't know. I was just curious what your stances were. I will make sure not to.
That's a good. Well, I didn't even know they were like they were like out of style. The 20-year-olds were making fun of them or whatever. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Well, that makes me feel bad because I haven't gone out and actually like bought a pair of them in forever. So. I mean, I just wear what my work gives me, I suppose.
Now you're gonna have to buy a pair just to send a message to all
now
these
I'm just wearing my Nike shorts tomorrow to work. That's it. I'm done with them. So
all right. Well, on that note, we are going to officially start the baseball talk. Vinny, let's do it.
Baseball.
Welcome back to Major League Baseball. Sort of.
Taking a look at Chicago's 2 favorite teams and other happenings around the MLB.
All right. So I just want to say Greg has prepared a cornucopia of baseball information, which talks about signings, contract length, options for clubs and players, term, amount of money, player roster invitees into camp, former Cubs, former White Sox, and also minor league contracts. So, Greg, this is yours. Take it away.
All right, boys. I guess we can say the heat is on. Justin, cue the music. I'm just going to burn through some of this stuff, And then you guys feel free to comment, jump in whenever you like when you got something to say about these bums, all right?
Sounds good.
So we will start with the much dreaded Philadelphia Phillies. Do we dread them? I don't know. But they signed a couple of relief pitchers to probably the exact same contract. 1 year, $6 million contracts to Brad Hand and Yuris Familia. Those guys do anything for you? Yeah.
No.
So, shout out to MLB jersey numbers. Hand is wearing 52, his normal number. Familia is wearing number 31. Moving on to Arizona, they signed Ian Kennedy to a 1 year, $4.75 million contract plus $2.35 million in incentives. So Arizona signed their second pitcher, the other being Mark Melancon before the lockout. Does Ian Kennedy do anything for you?
Nope.
No.
Number
36, according to MLB jersey numbers, diverting from his usual number 31. Pittsburgh signed some guy named Keith Embry. I think he's a pitcher. 1 year, $2.125 million contract. Never heard of the guy, to be perfectly honest. I think he was an old Boston guy or something. Speaking of Boston, he is, okay.
He is a pitcher, and he was on the 2018 World Series. He won the 2018 World Series, so yes, he was on Boston, right?
He was in Boston.
Yes.
Did they win in 2018? They did.
I think they did.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
They did.
Speaking of Boston, they signed a pitcher, left-handed pitcher Matt Strom, Agent Strom from Saw, to a 1 year, $3 million contract. That guy's got some long hair, if I remember. I remember him on San Diego. So they also signed a pitcher, Jake Diekman, to a 2 year, $8 million contract. So Boston's kind of beefing up their bullpen a little bit. They've been quiet and dumb through the whole offseason a little bit. Not too much going on there. Now that Freddie Freeman's going somewhere, we'll get to that later. Houston signed infielder Nico Goodrum to a 1 year, $2.1 million contract plus incentive. Take that, Carlos Correa. Who needs you? Washington is making additions. They signed designated hitter Nelson Cruz to a 1 year, $15 million contract. First of all, hats off to Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, still
making
kicking.
$15 million. Holy moly. So that's like a $12 million salary, $3 million buyout, and a mutual option for next season, 23. And he gets his usual number back, number 23. Washington also signs pitcher Steve Cishek. Remember him? He gets 1.75, and Sean Doolittle gets 1.5 million contract with 2.1 million in incentives, possibly. And just skip that, some minor league deals they handed out. Anibal Sanchez, Michael Franco, and Dr. Strange himself, D. Gordon. There's blast from the past.
Former Cub that never made it to the roster.
Never made it. Never made it. So outfielder Tim Locastro returned to the Yankees on a 1 year contract. I don't know the terms of it, nor do I care. Outfielder Odubel Herrera returning to Philadelphia on a 1 year, $1.75 million contract. I thought this guy was dead. $750,000 incentives. Arrested for domestic violence back in May 2019. Bad guy.
Yeah.
Bad guy playing center field. We don't like that at all. Get him out of there.
Yeah.
Getting to the Dodgers, they signed some guys that no one cares about. Henser Alberto to a 1 year contract plus club option for 23. My guy, well, we care about some of them, of course. Let's not jump too far ahead. They signed Jake Lamb to a 1 year, $1.5 million contract. Jake Lamb got signed by a team, and he also got a major league contract. Almost $2 million for him. Hats off to our guy, Jake Lamb, or my guy at least. But, oh, God.
Tony's guy too, right?
Tony's guy too, yeah, big Tony guy. So the Dodgers also signed pitcher Jimmy Nelson. This guy was the old Brewer, right?
Yes, I believe you're right. Yep.
Too. Because now he's making Jake Taylor league minimum, $700K in 22 plus a 1.1 million team option in 23 and performance bonuses. And I think the latest report came out that Danny Duffy was nearing a deal with the Dodgers.
That's right.
Yeah. Royal. So I don't know if that got finalized yet. Excuse me. So I'm sure it's probably close or anything. So Dodgers definitely adding some pitching. Colorado doing some stuff. Pitcher Alex Colomé to a 1 year contract. Oh, poor bastard. Shortstop Jose Iglesias to a 1 year contract. That looks like the end of Trevor's story, possibly, with him playing shortstop, and minor league deal for outfielder Scott Schebler. And maybe one other guy, but we'll get to him in a little bit. New York Mets signed Adam Ottavino to a 1-year, $4 million contract plus $1 million in incentives. He will wear his number 0, the usual, or lack of number, rather. Toronto signed left-handed pitcher Yusei Kikuchi. I say 3-year, $336 million contract. Left-handed pitcher Andrew Vasquez also signs a major league contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. Hats off, major league contract. Well done. Your guys' team, the St. Louis Cardinals, just kidding, signed Nick Whitgren to a 1-year, $1.2 million contract. He will wear number 30. So just remember that. Beat the shit out of number 30 on the Cardinals. They also signed outfielder Corey Dickerson. Clayton Kershaw back with the Dodgers on a 1-year, $17 million. Seems a little low, but he's been hurt a lot. He gets 14.5 and 22 plus a $2.5 million signing bonus and $1 million each for 16, 20, 22, 24, 26 games started. And $1.5 million for winning the Cy Young and $500K for a second or third place finish. Oh, must be nice. Our guy, Carlos Rodon, 2-year, $44 million with the Giants. He got paid with an opt-out after the first season. He's wearing number 16, so he got himself a pretty decent deal right there. Giants also signed Matthew Boyd. I forgot he was still around. He got a 1-year, $5.2 million contract with $2.3 million in incentives. Figures to be the number 5 starter in the rotation whenever he decides to get his back up in the rotation. Figures to be ready around June. Milwaukee, the Brewers signed McCutchen to a 1-year contract. Andrew McCutchen chose to wear number 5, but now has switched to number 24 for no apparent reason. So Hunter Renfroe will switch to number 12. How's Jake on the Brewers? Your brother-in-law, Justin.
He did not say anything about this. No, I mean, I saw it. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I'm assuming. I mean, I loved Andrew McCutchen in his glory days and his heyday, but he is not the guy he used to be. So, I mean, good leader, good clubhouse guy, but I don't know what else you're going to get from him, I guess, technically.
Okay. Cubs killer.
Yeah, that's true. So we will see him up in Milwaukee. The Braves signed pitcher Colin McHugh to a 2-year, $10 million contract. That's $4 million in 22, 5 and 23, $6 million club option in 24, and a $1 million buyout. He gets to wear number 32. They also signed outfielder Alex Dickerson to a non-guaranteed major league contract worth $1 million. Why'd you just say minor league deal? Eddie Rosario is also back with Atlanta on a 2-year, $18 million contract, which pays him 9 and 22, 9 and 23, and then the 9 club option in 24. So we can earn an additional on that. Texas, they signed infielder Brad Miller. They also signed Greg Holland to a 1-year, $2.1 million contract. He's still hanging on for dear life. Cincinnati Reds signed infielder Donovan Solano to a 1-year, $4.5 million contract. So they ship out all their people, then they bring in guys that play positions that they already have established with Jonathan India. But I guess he also plays third base, shortstop, and can DH a little bit. Angels signed Matt Duffy to a 1-year contract worth $1.5 million. Also, relief pitcher Archie Bradley to a 1-year, $3.75. And interesting here, they boosted their bullpen with Ryan Tepera to a 2-year, $14 million contract that broke earlier this evening. So he is headed to the Angels. Zach Greinke returning to Kansas City on a 1-year, $13 million contract. He's headed back home to the AL Central where we get to see him again, where he'll probably shut down the White Sox. God damn it. He returns to his old number 23 confirmed by MLB jersey numbers. And I got a big one for you here, boys. This one earlier today. I was very late to the party on this one because I thought it just broke up. Hey guys, Freddie Freeman just signed. I'm like, yeah, that was like 24 hours ago. Freddie Freeman headed to the Dodgers on a 6-year, $162 million contract. Apparently, what's being reported, the Braves offered a 5-year, $140 million contract, but he was looking for that extra year, which would have been the 6-year, no opt-out, a no trade clause. But it's the second highest AAV for a first baseman. He'll be making $27 million, and that's only behind Miguel Cabrera's $31 million. What do you guys think of this? Pretty much kind of what we thought if it wasn't going to be the Braves. Still kind of shocked it's not the Braves. You know, it just kind of seemed like it was going to happen, but the Dodgers, I think, kind of felt like the landing spot, even though it kind of took a while. So
the Dodgers are quickly turning into the 90s Yankees, where they just buy everybody up and roll out an all-star team, right? I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'll be very curious to see what happens.
MLB Net. Go ahead, Vinny.
I was saying he's from LA, right?
Yeah, he's from the area.
That's the whole tie there.
He lives his house, they saying, is like almost 5 hours away, so we can't live at home. But he, is in the same state. But you're right. It's definitely where he's from. So
yeah. I know. Yeah, it seemed like when he didn't go back to the Braves, it was like the Yankees were kind of like the front runners, and then they signed Rizzo, and then it seemed like, okay, it's going to be the Dodgers, but then there was a lot of chatter about Boston.
Yeah.
They kind of just been sitting on their hands.
A little bit. Well, it kind of figured too, like you said, Vinny, when the Yankees signed Rizzo, I mean, I think they did that in confidence, thinking the Red Sox weren't going to get him for whatever reason. I don't know what kind of inside information they had, but when they figured he wasn't coming out east, that they would pull the string on Rizzo. But we'll get to him in a minute. But like you were saying, Justin, kind of building that all-star team lineup. If you just look at MLB Network put out a potential lineup on TV, and it just goes Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, if he has a bounce back here, holy shit, Chris Taylor, and AJ Pollock. I mean, there's some names in that lineup. There's some stinking names in that lineup. It's just like, oh, wow. God, why do they have to do things better than my team? So
they do it better than everybody right now.
Than every team, pretty much. We're all pretty much saying that. So what I wanted to do next, I wanted to talk about some ex-Cubs signing and kind of open up the floor to you guys a little bit. If you had any thoughts on any of these, I'll start with Detroit signing Andrew Chafin to a 2-year, $13 million contract with an opt-out after the first year. I think you guys were Chafin guys. Did you want him back at any point?
Yes,
or is that, okay.
I did. I mean, he was a fun guy. He was a good bullpen guy, a solid, reliable bullpen guy. But the thing about bullpen guys is they're from year to year they kind of change, and
sure,
unless they're like a Hall of Fame bullpen guy, they might be good one year, they might be bad another year. So it would have been nice to have him back, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over a bullpen guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. San Francisco signed Jock Peterson, Jocktober himself, to a 1-year, $6 million contract. Going back to the rival, or going back to California, but to the rival team this time. He also chose to wear 23, his old buddy Chris Bryant's number with the Giants. So, of course, the Cubs shipped him out to the Braves.
Yeah, he did not do anything for me when he was a Cub. He was just a guy that was in the outfield and wore a pearl necklace during games. That was the biggest takeaway I had.
That was his thing. That's what you'll remember. So
he was really good in spring training.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a monster.
And then didn't show up during the regular season.
No, somewhere in Arizona, the ghost of Jock Peterson is still wandering the desert because it didn't show up to Wrigley Field last year. So yeah.
Thought I saw him on the broadcast today, but
he might have been.
Picked him up on camera. But Anthony Rizzo back with the Yankees, like we mentioned before, 2 years, $32 million contract with an opt-out after the first year. I reached out to some of our fellow Yankees, fellow podcasts and friends on Twitter, but do you guys have any? I know you guys weren't crazy about bringing Rizzo back to the Cubs, so is this just kind of like a whatever kind of thing to you?
Yeah, Vinny, I don't know how you feel, but his back. His back is. I guarantee you, he will not play. I'm going to put the over/under at 115 games he plays this season.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be less than 82.
Right, yeah.
He can't play home games.
Oh, yeah, he can't play. Well, okay,
and he can't play in Toronto. He can't play in Toronto.
Can't play in Toronto either.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. And I was just looking at on Twitter. He has an NFT as his avatar for Twitter. So he's dead. He's dead to me.
I have that prompt too. I'm still trying to figure out the whole NFT thing.
Your dad and I were talking about that last night, Vinny, and just how dumb NFTs are. So it was
JPEGs.
Yeah. Yes. I'm whatever. Good. I'm thankful for what he did in 2016. I'm thankful for his time here, but he was one that did not bother me at all when he was traded, and it does not bother me at all. I was very vocal. I did not want him to come back. I felt that would have been dead money after a certain amount of period of time. So yeah, no thanks.
How about you, Vinny?
Justin summed it up pretty well. Yeah, I could care less. Like he said, 2016 was great. After that, okay, whatever. I know a lot of people consider him the captain of the team, but I just whatever. Another player, after that, great 2016, great memories there, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like I mean, I get it, but I don't. Because if Jose, for me, I comp it to Jose Abreu, and the Sox haven't won anything. And if he signed somewhere else, I'd be devastated. So I don't know if that's the same kind of comp or something like that, but I don't know if that I don't know if I'm comparing apples and oranges, but it's even if that guy is terrible, I'd never want him to be anywhere else except the White Sox.
I think, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't. I don't know if I could just point.
I am also in the minority on that too, because I've seen plenty of Sox fans that were pissed that he signed a 3-year contract. What was it, 2 years ago now or something like that? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe that's just a thing, but
I hope he does well.
Yeah, I wish him the best.
But I don't know. I root for the Cubs, I don't really, I don't get too attached with players nowadays, especially nowadays because they're going to be gone. I mean, I have his jersey. I mean, my Cubs jersey has Rizzo on the back, but I don't have a special attachment to any of the players. I'll root for them, but at the same time, it's hard to get attached to a player that's with your team just because of free agency and trading and just the dirty side of the business aspect of pro sports nowadays. That goes.
I think that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I feel like every
it's
jersey
true though.
I have,
it's a reality.
Someone get traded. I got a Brandon Saad jersey, and he got traded the year after I got his jersey. I have a Cleo Mack jersey. He's gone from the Bears. So, it's just what it is. And so I try not to get too attached to players. I like them when they're here, and when they're gone, unless they're playing the Cubs, he's with New York, so they're not going to see him unless they're in the World Series. They're not going to see him in a game that matters unless they're in the World Series. Or I guess now next year they're playing every team. That's the scheduling.
Yeah, they're going to balance it that way.
Next year, so at some point, good for him. He got paid less than what he was.
Yeah,
offered.
a lot less. A lot less.
Yes.
Good for him. He's already been traded, so that whole seeing him play for another team that you were talking about with Jose Abreu, that bandage has been ripped off.
Kind of been ripped off already. Yeah,
and now it's whatever.
That makes sense. Some of our Yankees friends wrote in the Scoreboard Addicts podcast on Rizzo. It's an upgrade over Voit. He's good defensively. Only a 2-year deal. He obviously wants to be in New York. I don't think Freeman was coming. Got that right. Need another lefty bad guy who gets on base and doesn't just swing for the fences. And then our boys, 2 jocks and a schlub. No hot takes. Totally fine with it at 2 years, $32 million. It's only a matter of time before Voit is shipped out. Colin hopes Andujar goes with him for another lefty batter or starting pitcher. The Yanks overall are better defensive than they were in 2021. Time will tell if we see a lot of bounce back. So they're just kind of okay. Another big one, Kyle Schwarber signed with the Phillies, 4 years, $79 million contract. That dude got paid, and he's in a lineup with Harper. So good for him. That's a little bit more protection for Harper, and fuck, that lineup looks pretty good. He can slide in front of him. I mean, behind him in the lineup, you can move him around. So everyone was kind of sour there on the Phillies for not doing anything, but they definitely had some power with Schwarber right over there. So
yeah.
And the last one I have for ex-Cubs, like I said, we get to Chris Bryant signs with the Colorado Rockies for 7 years and $182 million. The Colorado Rockies. So he gets 26 million AAV, which matches Paul Goldschmidt for the 24th highest in MLB history. He gets a full new trade clause. I mean, Colorado literally shipped out Nolan Arenado 13 months ago to the Cardinals, along with $51 million and bad prospect return.
What are they doing in Denver?
They have a new GM though.
Yes,
they do. It's new. Yeah, it's new front office over there. So if this is recovery mode or something like that, or I wish he was the one. Him and Schwarber, I would have been perfectly okay with either one of them coming back to the Cubs. I think for a variety of reasons, but I guess, I mean, he won his World Series. He's won his MVP. I mean, he's got nothing else to prove. So collect your paycheck, go live in an amazing city like Denver. I would love to live in Denver if I could. Beautiful ballpark. He's going to, his stats are probably going to go through the roof if he's able to really connect with the thin air. So I guess good for him. But in terms of the Rockies organization, they seem like a train wreck. So I don't know from the ownership standpoint, I don't know how the new GM will do, but it looks like he's got a train wreck to clean up or something like that.
I don't understand. I mean, I guess, like I said, good for him.
They might they might have something in mind. I mean, within this window or something like that I mean, it's 7 years, but
bring back Trevor Story too if you're going to make a run. I mean,
he hasn't signed yet.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard his name tied with it, but I don't.
Watch, they're going to get Carlos Correa.
Oh God, that would be interesting.
The Rockies just coming out of nowhere, That's it's so weird because the Rockies have been just a laughing stock of an organization with the decisions they've made. So that's why it just feels so. But you're right, Vinny. They've got new front office, so maybe they're just trying to recover from like a quote unquote Pace Nagy era over there. So.
Yeah, right.
The last thing I saw on Twitter was that Bryant, Schwarber, Rizzo, Baez signed for a total of just under about $433 million. So they're all making some decent coin right over there. So that's crazy. Vinny, do you have anything on Chris Bryant?
I mean, it seems odd that he'd go to Colorado, just because they're probably going to be bottom feeders in that division for
I would
a while.
think so.
They're at least third or fourth, in that division. And then I guess depending on what Arizona's doing, so they're going to be fighting. I feel like for the third place, they're not going to be going for first or second there. So. And I don't know what his market was. It seemed was it Colorado and then rumored for Phillies just because of his friendship with Bryce Harper.
I think that was it. Right. Yep.
I don't know how serious they were, especially after signing Schwarber to get Bryant. So, I don't know. Is he just going there just because they paid him the most? Is that what his market was Colorado or nothing really? You didn't hear about a lot of teams in on him.
No,
I think the Padres were at the last second because of the Tatis injury, but before that, there was nothing. So I don't know what his market was. I know a lot of people that are pro Chris Bryant were he got paid more than he would have if he would have stayed with the Cubs.
Sure,
we don't know. Who's it? Kaplan. I can't think. It was Dave Kaplan.
Dave Kaplan. Yeah.
From ESPN said, he's been beating the drum that he was. Chris Bryant was offered an extension of well north of $200 million, and Chris Bryant, is adamant on that he never got an extension offer. So I don't know if that's even true. It seems odd that he would be adamant on it and then Kaplan's very adamant that he did get offered that. So it's that whole debacle is very interesting. Going to Colorado, I think it was his top dollar. And I think, Justin, like you said, he won an MVP. He's won a World Series. seems like he's just kind of, packing it in and just like, yep, I'll go here. I'll play. I'll, love the game. I'll go to work every day happy. I'll play here where there's no, no expectations.
None.
Really?
I can't imagine that the Colorado beat reporters or, media are going to be too hard on him.
No.
Right.
Especially if he plays, well and decent.
Yeah.
I think they'll be.
Well, they're just happy there's a baseball player in Colorado.
Exactly.
Pretty much. So
exactly. So yeah, it'll, good for him, getting paid $182 million. That's a big contract for him. So yeah, good for him. But it's a kind of a weird move. I think that caught almost everybody in the baseball world off guard there.
Definitely one. I don't think anyone had the Rockies on the radar, at least when all the speculation was happening. So just to go over some of the invitees a little bit, some of our minor league contract with the invites to big league camp. The Mariners brought in Steven Souza. Giants bring in Carlos Martinez, who will get $2.5 million if he makes the roster, and an additional $1.5 million in incentives. You guys remember him, former Cardinal. Rangers signed outfielder Jake Marisnick. You remember him, former Cub. New York Mets signed left-handed pitcher Mike Montgomery, former Cub World Series man on the mound.
I thought he was in jail.
He's back.
He was
right?
too.
Right?
Oh,
guess not. Guess what they got escaped or something. I don't know.
I guess
Detroit signed Willie Peralta. Dodgers signed Shane Green. Boston signed someone named Dan Altavia. I know
does not ring a bell at all.
Never heard of him. I know this guy. Mets signed outfielder Travis Janikowski, and he gets $1.25 million if he makes some majors. Just to burn through some of the trades have been really, really big. Probably bigger than the free agent market, at least when it started. The Mets acquired Chris Bassett from the Oakland A's in exchange for right-handers JT Ginn and Adam Oller. That Mets rotation is pretty solid now with DeGrom, Scherzer. Bassett slots into the number 3, Taijuan Walker and Cookie Carrasco to close it out. I asked Jack Lugo what he thought, and Jack says seems like a good move. This really solidifies the starting rotation. I like it. Our friends at Disney on the Rocks said, love the trade. Give the Mets a legitimate number 3 strong rotation when healthy. I still worry about depth beyond the top 5. If Peterson or McGill need to make more than 10 starts each, that's bad news for the Mets. But imagine Jake, Max, Bassett in a short series. Only the Dodgers can come close to that. The prospect, JT Ginn, is going back to the A's, is going to be really good for the middle rotation pitcher in a couple of years. A's should be happy with the return. Anything on Chris Bassett, guys?
Got nothing.
Moving on, Twins acquired pitcher Sonny Gray from the Reds in exchange for pitching prospect Chase Petty, who was their first-round draft pick. Twins also get Francis Piguro. Gray will wear 54, his usual number for the Twins. Not really looking forward to seeing him. They acquired. They acquired Isaiah Kiner-Falefa from the Texas Rangers for Mitch Garver. They also got Ronnie Henriquez from them. Then they traded away Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Josh Johnson along with catcher Ben Rortvedt to the Yankees in exchange for Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela. So probably one of the big trades to kick off everything. I asked two jocks and a schlub about what they thought about the Donaldson and IFK acquisition, and they said we hope Donaldson stays healthy and Isaiah Falafel, whatever his name is an upgrade over what they had at shortstop. Combined, Urshela and Sanchez didn't have a 3 WAR in 2021, and each of the new guys has a 3+ WAR. They are definitely more solid up the middle, which is a good start to get a get a foundation in place. So I get to see Gary Sanchez, mash home runs in the AL Central, but hope we can strike him out a bunch. So Yankees kind of building that lineup a little bit. They got a couple, which is weird because they got a couple first basemen now, because if you put Donaldson at third, you kind of take away LeMahieu there, because LeMahieu's kind of just stuck at first right now.
Yeah.
Rizzo could be DH, but I figured that's where you would put Stanton. So just kind of got an overload of hitters right now, but I'm sure they'll figure out what to do with them. Another big one, the Braves acquired first baseman Matt Olson from the A's in exchange for Christian Pache, Shea Langeliers, who are two of their top prospect pitchers, Ryan Cusick and Joey Estes. Olson gets immediately extended. He gets an 8-year, $168 million contract extension that covers $15 million in 22, $21 million in 23, $22 million through 24 and 29. So that roughly covers 140 to 145 million over 6 free agent years and 2 years of salary arbitration. So they weren't waiting around for Freddie Freeman, I guess. They weren't seeing eye to eye on that 6-year. So they went ahead and pulled the trigger on Matt Olson from the Oakland A's. What do you guys think about that? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I give them credit. If they're not waiting around, they're going to make a move. And I think that kind of solidified or pretty much put the nail in the coffin of Freddie Freeman going somewhere else. And his market was kind of limited, supposedly, by how much he was wanting. So, no, I don't think it's not really much of a decrease in talent. I think Chapman's a pretty good player. And I'm sorry, not Chapman. Olsen is a pretty good player. So, good on him.
Couple years younger too. Yeah, a couple years younger too. So definitely can mash. So we'll see how that goes. But Freddie Freeman, I guess, as soon as that was announced, Freddie Freeman was gone, and according to Bob Nightingale, he will be forgotten. So
yes.
Oh, good old Boob Nightingale.
Yep.
Speaking of the market shortening for Chris Bryant a little bit, the Mariners acquired Eugenio Suarez and outfielder Jesse Winker from the Reds in exchange for right-handed pitcher Justin Dunn, outfielder Jack Fraley, left-handed pitcher Brandon Williamson, and a player to be named later. So they kind of boosting up their lineup a little bit, and that kind of answered their third base question a little bit. So originally I thought it was going to be Bryant to the Mariners, but as soon as that trade happened, I thought that was going to be more and more less likely. So that helps the Cubs out a little bit. Maybe the Reds are just fighting for last place with the Pirates right now or something like that. But that's they're definitely the Reds are definitely having a fire sale selling off all their guys. I think it's pretty much just Joey Votto and Jonathan India left anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing down there in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Packing it in.
I guess so. Toronto, as you alluded to earlier, Justin, Toronto acquired third baseman Matt Chapman from the A's in exchange for, I love this name, Gunnar Hoagland, the 19th overall pick in
good
21.
hockey name.
Yeah, exactly. First thing I thought of.
It is a good name.
Jays number 4 prospect. The A's also got shortstop and third baseman Kevin Smith, the number 9 prospect in the Jays organization. Also the number 27th ranked prospect Zach Logue, and left-handed pitcher Kirby Snead. So a pretty decent haul, Billy, being got in return for Matt Chapman. But, if Matt Chapman, he's a brick wall at third base, Platinum Glove Award winner. And if he, comes back with the bat, which no reason to think he won't to. I know he had that nagging hip injury. I mean, that that Blue Jays infield with Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Matt Chapman. I mean, that's a big time infield. That's right gross. Over there. Yeah,
that's rough to look at.
Scary, young, scary, talented infield. Chapman also gets to wear his number 26, confirmed by MLB jersey numbers. And we reached out to Jake Hahn, our resident Blue Jays fan, Sirius XM, and frequent guest on this podcast. And he loves it. He says he can't wait to watch him play, meaning Chapman, third base this summer. Hopefully the bat gets back to what it was a few seasons ago. Look forward to talking some baseball with you boys. Love having Jake on our show.
Jake's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to set something up with him once the season gets going. So
absolutely, especially with that Blue Jays team who figured to, at least they're fighting for that division or what. I mean, I don't know if they're considered the favorite right now, but you can't really argue against it, I suppose.
No, not at all.
And speaking of another trade, Kansas City Royals acquired pitcher Amir Garrett from Cincinnati for pitcher Mike Minor. The rivalry can continue. He gets to meet his old friend Javi Baez, who will face several times during the season. So this was always
great.
Yeah, this was kind of a fun move to see. So
do you think Javi went to Detroit to the AL going, man, I'm not going to have to face Garrett, and then here comes Garrett. He's going to be on
again.
Yeah,
I don't know who feels better about that rivalry. I mean, because Garrett got clowned the last time they faced each other with the walk-off home run. So it'll be, it's going to be interesting. At least you'll have those highlights, to be looking out for when you're, following the AL Central, Greg. So good for you.
Yeah, there we go. Right. I wonder. Well, the White Sox can be pesky too. So is we're gonna start a new thing? And the White Sox and Royals already have really bad blood to begin with. So
right,
there might be some. I mean, him and TA. There might be.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little bat flip from
bat flip.
Anderson.
Yeah, there might be some words exchanged.
Is Goodwin still on the Brian Goodwin still on the?
No, it's kind of a shame. No, we didn't invite him back. He's still a free agent, but we didn't invite him to spring training or anything. It's just kind of a shame. I like Brian Goodwin. He was a fun player. So, but yeah, guys, that is our hot stove, non-Cubs, non-Sox related. So
that was
good job, Greg.
That was a lot, done, Greg. But that was a lot of fun to track all that stuff. I was doing that. I'm like, I could totally do this for a living. I don't know who, but hopefully this podcast. But
we got to get you a job at like Fangraphs or
I'm sure you could probably work at USA Today because the person that they have currently is awful at his job. And you can't be any worse than that.
Sign me
up.
I would love for you to be a baseball insider, Greg.
Be the dream come true. Be the dream come true. So.
Well, we can switch gears to the local baseball signings. Greg, you want to tell us what's going on with the White Sox this week so far?
I'll burn through this stuff really quick. They signed Josh Harrison. I know I talked to you guys about this, but they signed Josh Harrison to a 1-year, $5.5 million contract. He's going to be our starting second baseman. He said in an interview that Rick Hahn spoke to him that he said, "Hey Josh, we want to start you at second base, obviously, but we might need you to." He's like another, Larry Garcia almost, but better defensively. The guy can play literally anywhere. Besides, I'm probably not catcher or something, but it's not a flashy name. It's not. I know Sox fans wanted the big name to trade for at second base, but. Defensive upgrade is a huge need. We've needed a solid defensive guy at second base for a long time. I can't wait to see what he and TA do on turning double plays and everything. Him hitting at the bottom of the lineup, scrappy dude, veteran, good clubhouse guy. I absolutely love this signing, and he's wearing number 5. Our Sox second baseman should wear number 5. Like that's a thing. There's a Ray Durham number over there.
That's true.
That's what they wear,
guy.
Whether it's Ray Durham, Yolmer Sanchez, Jason Nix, or Orlando Hudson, whoever else. So number 5 right over there. They also signed Joe Kelly to a 2-year, $17 million contract. Now he had some right bicep nerve injury, so he's not going to break camp with the team. They're going to heal him up before he's ready to join the club. But that's another fireballer. I mean, another guy to really, add to this already strong bullpen. He's got a club option for 2024, and he trolls the Astros. So
yes, he does. I like him already.
You always love guys like that. I mean, the guy looks kind of like a loon too. He's got a weird mustache.
He's a psychology major in college. He's a psych.
Is he really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
I was telling you guys this the other day. He was on 670 The Score out here in Chicago for the first time, and he dropped like 3 F-bombs in like the course of like 10 seconds. And they were talking about on the radio today, the producer's like, I can't hit the dump button anymore. We're out of dump button time. We need to tell him to stop swearing. So, what's his name? Parkins. Not Matt Parkins. That's Matt Spiegel.
Danny Parkins.
Danny Parkins. Thank you. He's like, we're Joe, we're really happy to have you, but I really need you to stop swearing. Otherwise, we're going to have to let you go.
That's great.
That's
I mean, the guy's, if he can come back from that nerve issue, he could be a real gamer for the White Sox in the bullpen for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited about that. Just get him right. I mean, the bullpen. I mean, I think people forget we still got like Garrett Crochet. We still have Aaron Bummer, who needs to have like a contract or needs to have a comeback. We still have Craig Kimbrell hanging around. People forget, like, oh, we're going to trade him. Like, no, he is still there.
Yeah,
he is still there. So there hasn't been any talk or smoke around that. So I don't know. Is he just gonna hang out for a little while?
I don't think he wants to. I'll put it that way. I don't.
I think getting back to the whole swearing thing too, I think the White Sox pitching staff is going to have this reputation between Joe Kelly, Liam Hendricks, and Lance Lynn.
They're nuts.
Dirty language, just cursing left and right on and off the field. So
yeah.
Speaking of pitchers, I really like the signing. Sox fans don't get it, but Vince Velasquez, 1 year, $3 million contract. I mean, it's virtually nothing. Can be a long arm in the bullpen. Can be a spot starter. I knew about him in Philly. Didn't really know about him with his time in the Astros. I mean, way back when, but he's kind of like a taller, lankier guy. He's got really good delivery. He's still got really good velocity. I think I'm hoping this guy stays healthy and does some good things for us. I know he's had a couple injuries in his time with Philly, but I really like the signing too. I mean, any kind of pitching, obviously, I'm going to love, but if he's a hard thrower and he can stay healthy, I think we'll have some options. Always good to have another swing guy on the team. It never hurts, especially if you're relying on Michael Kopech to be in the rotation, and he's never thrown over 100 innings or whatever that number is. You just don't know. So if you have to pivot to a healthy Velasquez, I think that's a decent guy to pivot to. I say that until he gets like rocked by the.
I hate this guy.
The Guardians one day. So, but arrow's pointing up right now. And then revisiting the Kendall Graveman jersey number debacle, which number I have no idea what I picked. I thought I said 36, but he's ended up wearing his regular career number 49, Chris Sale's old number. So I don't know if I got that right. I'm just going to go ahead and say no, I didn't. But Kendall Graveman also had he had an interview with Chuck Garfien, and where he talked about that time he was traded from the Mariners to the Astros. And I know we touched on it before, how there was like a mutiny in the clubhouse when the Mariners found out they traded him, because he was just such a popular guy, a good dude, and a hell of a pitcher to have in the clubhouse, to the point where they started tearing up and breaking shit in the clubhouse, which had been an interesting sight to see. So he did get choked up talking to Chuck right there. But it sounds like he's really happy to be here. And I found it funny too, that the first thing he did when he got to camp was he apologized to Tony La Russa and Jose Abreu for throwing at his head in the ALDS, trying to clear up trying to convince him that it was not intentional. Jose Abreu, being the good guy that he is, just had a laugh about it or whatever, and not quite sure how Tony took it. But I thought that was kind of funny. And speaking of Tony, apparently him and TA are like best friends now, where they're texting and TA's calling.
Wait.
him.
Tony knows how to use the phone?
Can text?
He knows how to. TA probably taught him. So they're. He said. TA said he's like my best friend, who also happens to be my coach. So look at that. Best buds for life right over there.
For Greg's sake and White Sox fans, I hope things go well and they do well. But can you imagine if they bottom out for some reason? That relationship is going to get dicey quickly, I would imagine. I don't know about you guys, but
could.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope not. You know,
if you wouldn't have taught me how to text, none of this would have been happening to you.
We don't need
Right.
more your mean stuff. Who hit leadoff today in one of the split squad games? I think, or he was in the lineup. So
all right, the Yerminator's back.
he hasn't
round two.
He hasn't
playing
gone away
outfield
just
now.
yet. Yeah.
Yes. Can we just say he was quoted? I heard a quote the other day, or I read a quote from him, and it was like, "Yeah, I'm not really focusing on catching. I'm going to do my best to become the best outfielder I can be." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if that's a good position for you either." But hey, you do you, man. So
Whatever it needs. That's my White Sox stuff, guys. So.
Well, the Cubs, the Ricketts are spending money. Stop the phone. I can't believe it. Vinny, do you want to tell us a little bit about Sia Suzuki? If you're listening, this is the chant. I feel bad. I don't know what team he played for in Japan. Do you know what team
the Carp, the Hiroshima Carp?
Hiroshima Carp. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the chant that would be sung, I guess you could say, throughout the entire stadium. So, yeah, I mean, he's 27. He signed a 5-year, $85 million deal. Originally, it was reported to $70 million. There's a posting fee the Cubs have to pay for bringing him over, which is about $12. Or is it $12 million? $12?
$12 million.
$12 million. Okay, I was going to say, I'm like, posting fees are usually millions of dollars.
$12. That would have been awesome. I think it ended up being over 100. Yeah.
Yes. So he's also got a full no trade clause. If this is the first time you've ever heard about him, first of all, that's the highest salary for a Japanese position player coming to the MLB, the second largest behind pitcher Masahiro Tanaka, which was $155 million back for the Yankees in 2014. 9 seasons playing with the Hiroshima Carp. He batted .308, .402 on base, .541 slugging, and a .943 OPS, 189 homers, 621 RBIs, in 1,088 hits, 611 runs. So I'm excited. We'll see what he can bring. We'll make hopefully his game transitions well to the stateside baseball. And most importantly, holy cow, Tom Ricketts reportedly was heavily involved in the deal himself, which I honestly think that would negate the deal, but it worked out. So, Vinny, Greg, what are your thoughts on Sia Suzuki?
Vinny.
I'm thoroughly excited for this signing. I definitely, it's a power bat that they needed. It's gonna be fun to see him, play in the United States. Hopefully the bleacher bums can get that chant right. And I can't imagine.
I'm not holding my breath.
Can't wait to hear that version.
Right? It's going to be a drunken mess. Mixed with Ronnie Woo out there. It was shocking to hear, that Ricketts was involved in it. So did Tom Ricketts seal the deal, or did he go just to make sure that Jed didn't overpay?
I'm thinking the latter.
Right? Yeah. It was
too much.
Right? Yeah. No,
bring it back. Bring it back.
$12, not $15 million. $12. The posting fee $12.
We're trying to buy Chelsea.
Right? Yeah.
We got a sports book to pay for, you son of a bitch.
I guess that's refreshing to see. With all the negative clout around Ricketts and I guess Jed, but I guess it's more on Ricketts that they're not spending on the team. I don't think they should be done. There are 2 shortstops out there that they could definitely add to the team. I know, Greg, you and I were going back and forth on the Castellanos signing or potential, that he's still out there and that they should sign him. It would be great.
Move Sia Suzuki to center field, dump Hayward, thank him for his speech in 2016, and sign Castellanos to play right field.
Yes. Eat the dough.
Yeah. Well, no, and I agree they should do that, but they're going to try to get something for him, and maybe they do the Hosmer Hayward swap, because
I would give that a shot.
Yeah, you go, but I'm really looking forward to seeing.
I am excited.
Alfonso Rivas play first base full time, hopefully this year, or in large capacity split it with Frank the Tank. again, I don't know. They need some more bats, big bats. Castellanos would definitely fill that.
Fill that void,
obviously. Correa or Story would fill up in that shortstop position nicely. So yeah, it's a great signing. Couple that with the Stroman signing. They are spending money.
Yes,
which is great to see, especially since 2019. After that season, the purse strings have been tightened, and yes, we don't know why they were. Well, biblical losses is what we were told. So it's good to see that that's gone away, especially with everything that's being purchased by the family. They can't hide behind that anymore. So I'm glad to see that they've actually put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
See, I'm not going to give them that credit yet, because it's only been 2 players that they brought in. They're going to have to Rick is going to have to spend a little bit more to get me on to get me back on the side that he is acting like he belongs in the big market. At least.
True.
So I mean, it is over $100 million for Suzuki. What they give Stroman
30. It was 30 per year.
30 per year. Okay.
It was the same as it was 30 per year because it was the same.
You give him the Verlander, so it was like okay. So
he got an extra year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was like 90 or something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
Still only 2 players for me. I mean, that is better than nothing. That is a lot more than they've done in the past, though. But I'm gonna, like I said, I want to see that third or that another one of those big guys or something. But I don't even know what their plans are. So
yeah, or if they get one of the shortstops in Jorge Soler for their big bat.
Yeah,
totally.
Ooh, that would be.
I'd be for that too.
Totally. Yep.
So we'll see.
They also signed in Drelton Simmons, a shortstop, 1 year, $4 million plus incentives. Former teammate with Jason Hayward and David Ross back in 2012 with the Braves. He's going to wear number 19. If that's their starting shortstop and they go with him, that could be a problem. If it's a bench utility guy, then I'm on board with it. Reliever Jesse Chavez, I'm really excited they brought him back on a minor league deal. I really liked him when he was a Cub. That was 2-3 years ago now.
2018, I think it was.
Wow, 4 years ago. So obviously his stuff might be a little weaker now, but really enjoyed him in 2018. He had a 1.15 ERA in 26 innings and 32 appearances, 42 strikeouts, and a .795 whip as a reliever. I'll take that any day. He was quoted as saying, "I just wanted to fit. Things didn't happen with some other clubs, but this one's always been there. It's always been on the table, and I just had to take it. It felt like the right time for me and my family to choose this place." So that's really cool to hear that, obviously there's a connection there that he was happy to.
Seems like a genuine dude,
He does.
So.
He does. I am very disappointed, though, that Coldplay is stopping touring because Chris Martin has signed a 1 year, $2.5 million contract plus incentives as a reliever for the Cubs. You might know Chris Martin, not of Coldplay fame, but he won the World Series last year with Atlanta. He had a 2.19 postseason ERA and will wear number 58 for the Cubs this year. Any thoughts on that signing, guys, for relieving purposes?
Yeah, I thought it was solid.
Yeah, good signing. I mean, you're going to need as many bullpen arms.
Yep. Well, what is it? It's not the bullpen, it's the barnyard or whatever.
Oh yeah, Peter wanted to change it. Was that what it was?
The subconscious.
Yeah.
What
it was going to be.
PETA has infiltrated my brain. They also recently signed left-handed pitcher Steven Brault to a major league deal. And Greg, I'm curious to get Greg's take on this. I mean, I guess this guy I'm going to mention in a second kind of resurrected his career a little bit pitching for Team USA of the Olympics in the last Summer Olympics.
He sure did.
Reliever David Robertson, 1 year, $3.5 million, which seems kind of like an overspend to me. $1 million in roster bonuses and $500K in incentives. David Robertson, former closer of the White Sox. Greg, what's your take on that?
I loved David Robertson at his time for the White Sox. He was crazy underrated. The only reason no one paid attention to it because the White Sox tried to build these, playoff teams and they just ended up stinking. But he never stunk. He never stunk for the White Sox. He never stunk with the Yankees before that either, even when he took over from Mariano Rivera, came over to the South Side. And he was solid, but no one knew it because no one gave a shit about the White Sox. So, you know what? Like you said, Justin, pitched for Team USA last year. showed a lot of things enough for the Rays to actually bring it
Yeah.
in for the end of the season.
That's right.
You know, like the Rays like to do shit like that. So I think it's actually good for two reasons. Like, number one, yes, he's on the retirement thing. He's like 36, 37 years old. So there might be some life back in there. He's had a successful career. But it's like once you go to the Rays, like they teach you like different things over there.
Yeah.
It's like re-education. You know, it's like a Clockwork Orange where you're like that or whatever. So I like that a lot, especially what Brad Wick, Cody Hoyer is on the 60-day deal too, which sucks because I really wanted Cody Hoyer to like be a rock solid because I loved him for the White Sox. He was so it sucked to give him up, but it was still the move they needed to make. But I still think that guy's gonna be really solid for you. It's just too bad that he's hurt right now.
Yeah.
So time will tell. But Roberts is interesting. Like if there's something left in the tank there, that's a solid veteran. He knows how to get out. He's been in a closer role. He's got a closer mentality. I think you might get something out of that. We'll see. Age is a thing. So there's a reason he's been out of the league for a little bit, struggled in Philly with injuries. So health is going to be a big question. But if the Cubs can figure out the right way to use him and figure out what kind of role he can serve, you might have found something. You might have found something right there. 3.5 though. Yeah. I mean, glad he got it, but yeah, that's a little bit more than I thought a guy like that would get, especially being out of the game for a little while. So, and just kind of returning to it a little bit, but they see something in him. Maybe there was a market for him that we don't know about. So
yeah, that's a possibility. And then lastly, Jonathan VR believed to be signing for about $6 million. I guess that closes the book on Correa and Story. We'll see. I mean, he was a Brewer, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Does that sound about right?
He's been on a lot of
At
teams.
one point. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I would prefer somebody.
That says depth to me too.
It does.
I don't know.
I've been seeing a lot that he's going to be platooning at third base.
Okay. With wisdom.
With wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that makes sense.
Yep.
It
to
does.
me, at least. So.
Yep.
Then we also.
The door's still open to get Correa or Story.
They're still there. They're still
Yeah.
out there.
Michael Givens was picked up.
Yeah, who's he? He sounds familiar. Do you guys
I was
know
going to
who
say,
he is?
I was hoping one of you guys knew who he is.
No, I wrote it down. I wrote down like I know that name, but
he is a pitcher. He's played for the Orioles, the Rockies, and the Reds. Made his debut in 2015. He played for the Rockies and Reds last year.
He's a pitcher. You said though.
Pitcher career 3.41 ERA.
Experience.
Thought he was an outfielder. Never mind.
So yeah, I mean, I guess you know what? Bring all these arms in, see who sticks, and kind of build your bullpen that way. I'm fine. I have no problem with that. And then the other thing, and granted, I know the last couple seasons have been weird because of COVID and everything, but David Ross giving a contract extension through 2024 with an option of 2025. I know lame duck managers in the MLB is not a thing, but he has done absolutely nothing, in my opinion, to warrant any type of extension or any type of length of employment. I mean, he hasn't sucked, but he also hasn't done anything positive, in my opinion. I don't know where you guys stand on David Ross.
Well, that might be it. It just might just because he hasn't sucked or whatever.
Yeah,
how much
is the front office,
how much is the front office controlling the pulling the strings on
calling down
on field plays? So now what the Cubs should do, because I think the trend is now you have the young manager for the rebuild or something like that, and then when it's time to win, you get the oldest dude available to manage your team, like the Sox did with Tony La Russa. And like the Mets did with Buck Showalter. So you just bring in the old guys now. So I mean that's what what the World Series was last year with Snicker and Dusty Baker.
Who can they dig up to bring in?
Go dig up Mike Scioscia. Right? He's out there somewhere.
Oh
so.
yeah.
Dig up Bruce Bochy. Lou Piniella.
Lou Piniella.
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre.
You seen him lately? I don't know if that's a good idea, but
So I think that's the direction. So maybe the Cubs are just trying to break that trend a little bit by having the younger guy in there. So I don't know.
Couple other just bullet points to touch on. This week we found out Fernando Tatis Jr., one of my favorite probably modern players for the Padres, is out for 3 months due to a fractured wrist. And he was asked, about his accident, and he responded, "Which one?"
Yeah.
So not a good thing.
No,
not a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, because this was probably 2000-ish, 2001. I immediately had flashbacks to the Bulls with Jay Williams. And that ended his career. He was done. After he's got a good, not entertainment career, but broadcasting career now. I know he does a lot of broadcasting stuff, but you got to be careful. I'm surprised. I know there was talk that somebody had brought up the Padres technically could void his contract on the spot because of that. I don't know if that was a violation of some type of agreement or stipulation.
Yeah, I think it is or something.
And they said no, they're not going to do that because they view him as a centerpiece of the organization going forward. I knew
they put a lot of those things in like NFL contracts too, where you can't, do no wingsuit gliding, whatever, no dangerous sports,
snowboarding out of a helicopter.
I would assume it's the same for baseball, especially with a young star like that. I like how Bob Melvin came out and say, his motorcycle riding days are over. Kind of like the old red ass manager sort of.
Son, we're not doing that anymore.
Love that.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see after it was like a day after the report about Tatis's his motorcycle breaking his wrist? They had like the entire infield like jump on a golf cart at spring training. Did you guys see that?
No, was that them? I saw that.
Yeah,
that was the
and the cart goes like up on two wheels too, and then like a bunch of guys that were on the back jump off of it. It's like, my god!
I can just see AJ Preller of the Padres being like, "Do you realize what you're doing? You're making way more work for me."
Especially, this team just pissed out last year.
Yes,
too.
They did.
So they better start taking shit seriously.
Yeah. You're right. God. Absolutely right. So a couple other things. Pete Alonso was recently in a rollover car accident.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah,
I want to say
that
he was bad.
Quoted as saying he had to kick out the windshield or kick out the side view mirror to get out of it. So hopefully, best of luck to him recovering. Thought I read somewhere at least a month he'd be out. Does that sound right? Or maybe it'd be less. I can't remember.
What did he get hit by?
That I don't know.
He got T-boned by.
He was in a Super Duty Ford.
Right.
And I was like, man, did he get hit by like a semi truck?
Well, it was a red light runner, so it must have been pretty high speed or something. So,
but still, if he's getting hit by a car, like a Nissan Versa, that Nissan Versa is going to explode.
Well, it would just pancake on impact,
right? So, if it was a Nissan Versa, that's not a good look for Ford. That it flipped 3 times. And flew like that.
I'm looking on an article right now from CNN. It says Alonso told reporters he was driving his pickup to Mets camp in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He was hit by a driver who ran a red light. His Ford pickup truck flipped probably 3 times. He was quoted as saying. So, if you want to go on his Instagram account, him and his wife posted photos. I'm looking at the one now. The back rear axle is just completely hanging off the back of the truck. There's nothing left holding it together. So, he's lucky. So, we also have Jay Flair underwent a medical evaluation on his right shoulder. So there's that.
I don't know where he's at with that, but if he has DL stint, that helps the Cubs out too. So you don't have to face him. So
yes, it does.
No Flaherty.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty. Oh, man. Can you imagine if the Cardinals didn't have him? That would be a nice go for the Cubs.
Yep.
Chris Sale, ribcage stress fracture. I believe it was trying to cut things with a knife or scissors, if I'm not mistaken. He will not be ready for the start of the season. He was quoted as saying that his scissors thing were not scissors. He said he used a knife. Did you guys hear that?
I did. Yeah.
Why wait now and to release or to reveal that? I don't know.
think anybody cared about that.
That makes it all the better, Chris. Yeah,
he's nuts.
Yeah, and he a stress fracture too. Like what the hell is that? Is that just from his throwing style or something?
I'm wondering. Right? I mean, he's got such an unorthodox throwing in that across the body as a lefty. I mean, they always talk about how bad that is.
He has not been able to stay healthy for the Red Sox, and they extended him too. So I don't know. I mean, I always mean, he's talented when he's healthy, but when the Sox traded him, like I was not.
I think the White Sox won that trade. If we're going to revisit it, I don't know.
Well, if we go back to who won the trade again, because I know we talked about the Adam Eaton one before on Twitter. So I mean, technically, if you define win, I mean both those teams won the World Series from Sox, and who both made contributions to those teams. So if you use the word win, I think you have to give it to the Red Sox and the Nationals in that case, but. Like I said, the White Sox technically didn't lose anything yet because, we're in a contention window that is still slowly closing, but, so we got to capitalize on it. But,
right.
Yeah, it's, that trade in particular. I mean, both trades, if we're talking about both of them, I was happy to see both those loons leave the White Sox. So they're cutting up jerseys in the Drake LaRoche BS. I found out too. I think I told you guys, but it was actually he ain't no Todd Frazier and Jimmy Rollins, who were kind of like the lead guys on the whole Drake LaRoche thing. Like, what the hell? Like,
to get him kicked out?
Yeah, like what the fuck is this kid doing in the clubhouse? So that kind of came more to light as to recently. So what's Frazier and Rollins? Well, veteran guys too. They want to walk around the clubhouse with their wings hanging out, and they're like, now we can't do it because there's this 12-year-old walking around here. So you don't blame them, but.
Well, the last bit of baseball news is with the Reds dumping everyone who has a pulse, besides Joey Votto, pretty much. Ken Griffey Jr., who I just want to preface this by saying Ken Griffey Jr. has not played for the Reds since 2008, and he retired in 2011. He is now the sixth highest paid player on the Reds payroll right now.
Oh, backloaded Bobby Bonilla stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
that's amazing. I had no idea.
Bobby Bonilla is smiling right now.
Right, I had no idea there were like all these deferred payments with Griffey too. I had no until that story broke or whatever.
Yeah,
so, that's incredible.
That's something that So that there you go. That was a smorgasbord of baseball news and developments for you.
Backlog.
A backlog.
I had one more thing too. Speaking of like team salaries and stuff like that, I think I heard this on John Boy Media, but they looked up team payrolls and the Oakland A's. If you look at the money they have to owe players, not counting arbitration or anything, but guaranteed money that they have to pay out to the roster is exactly $1 million. Like that is all they have. Now that is not counting arbitration or anything like that. Okay. So because you can technically non-tender those guys, I think. But if you look at their books, like they are actually the money they have to pay out to their roster is $1 million with the latest dumpings and all that.
Wow.
So
wow.
That is when I heard that I could not fucking believe that. I mean, that's just.
Jeez.
I mean, who else would than Billy Bean and that Oakland A's owner, behind that number. So Moneyball, baby.
Right? Holy
and they're
cow.
ripping apart, but shit. Next thing you know, they turn around and win like 89 games or something.
Right?
Like
yeah,
that.
they were on the upswing there for a couple seasons, and now they are back to losing.
Oh my god. So I heard, like I said, I heard that one. I didn't look it up for myself, but those guys are always pretty reliable with their baseball research. So I was like, I couldn't freaking believe that. So
jeez. Well, is there any other segments, any other talk we need to get to, any other stories you guys want to hit and all encompassing, or should we move on to our interview?
But
awkward silence.
Awkward pause. Did we have anything on?
If I didn't know better, I'd say Vinny did that on purpose.
Right?
I have no hockey.
Do we have anything on the NFL?
Anything you want to mention about the NFL?
I mean, I guess the big thing on the NFL is what's his name? The
Devontae
wide
Adams?
receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams was just traded tonight to the
Darn.
Raiders, right? Vegas Raiders.
To play. He wanted to play with David Carr.
Oh, no.
Oh darn! Aaron Rodgers lost his number one wide receiver. It's going to be very interesting to see what Rodgers now. Now is this going to start drama again with the Packers?
I hope so because I love
He's
it.
not going to show up to camp because Devontae Adams isn't there. He had to have known.
Oh yeah,
that this was going to happen. That they were going to trade him, unless he was just. I don't know. You would think that he wouldn't sign if his number one wide receiver wasn't going to be there, especially because 2 years ago he threw a hissy fit.
Yeah,
he didn't draft a wide receiver,
right?
So unless they're going to draft a wide receiver, then it's a deep draft for wide receivers. So maybe they're going to draft a wide receiver first and second round.
Maybe,
who knows?
Maybe.
They still have a huge cap issue because of his salary. So this is very interesting. I don't know how, it'd be interesting to hear what your brother-in-law, Jake.
Yes, I'll have to reach out to him.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to know what
to reach out. Yeah, the idea,
Packers people.
I love just to picture Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he probably, I would imagine he had to have known this was in the works before the signing. I mean, that's such a big commitment of money. But if he didn't, and then he hears that the reason that Devontae Adams wants to leave is so he can go play with Derek Carr of all quarterbacks, who, don't get me wrong, I like Derek Carr, but he is not nearly as talented as Aaron Rodgers. And I can't stand Aaron Rodgers, but that's got to be a boost to Aaron Rodgers' ego, who is clearly all about the look at me, my ego needs to be, satiated, stuff like that. So, if this is like the beginning of the end of the Green Bay Packers and this is the collapse,
wouldn't that be great?
It would be amazing.
Right?
Never it to my veins.
The Packers have always been good for
our entire
as far
lifetime.
as I can remember.
Entire lifetime since Brett Favre, so another scumbag. But yeah,
yes,
must be something in the water up there. I don't know, but So I'm glad you brought that up, Vinny. So we'll have to stay posted. We'll have to see next week if there's more developments, and who knows, maybe by this time next week, Aaron Rodgers has a complete meltdown, and I don't know, holding Devontae Adams hostage, retires again,
cuts up the jerseys and leaves Lambeau. Right. So and goes as a beer with Chris Sale.
Something tells me they would get along great.
Probably would.
I can't tell why, but I feel like there's something there.
Crazy dudes,
loons
hanging out. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I
it.
think that does it for the first segment. Please stay tuned after the break. We are going to have our new guy, and I'm hoping we'll have to have him on multiple times because he's just an awesome dude. And that is Sam Weiderhaft of the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. And he's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to work in the minor leagues, what it's like to work for an affiliate of the Cubs, and just how they are excellent at their social media game with some of the promotions they do, some of the things they do for the community. We're going to get into all that. And I know Greg was happy because he is a big fan of MLB The Show as well. So I think Greg's got a new friend for life. So stay tuned. And thanks again for listening. We will see you guys in a few seconds. Take care. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. This is Justin again. We got Vinny and Greg. We are back with the second half of Baseball and Whatever. We are super lucky tonight. We have a awesome special guest, especially if you are a Cubs fan. We are going to find out all about the ins and outs of the minor league organization that the Cubs are part of, and that is the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, the Single-A franchise affiliate. And we are lucky we have Sam Weiderhaft on. Sam is the, I believe, Sam, you are the head broadcaster and the head of public relations. Does that sound right?
Yeah, head of media relations and the broadcaster for the Pelicans. Yeah, same thing.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll jump in. We're just going to, we're curious. We'll talk about the organization, some of the stuff you guys got going on in terms of just, kind of making a difference in terms of the community, the organization, some PR stuff you're doing, and we'll go from there. So first of all, thank you again. I guess the first thing we were kind of curious is, how did you get on board with the organization? How did your career take you to this point, I guess?
Sure. Well, first off, thank you guys for bringing me on. And you told me before the interview that you guys have become Pelicans fans during the lockout. So really excited to hear about that.
Yeah.
We're a really fun organization to follow. But Just the way that I kind of got into broadcasting, first off, is I started in high school. I'm from Central Indiana, and our high school has a radio station, so I started calling games there and really found out I had a passion for it. I went to Butler University in Indianapolis. I continued to do it there, and then I graduated in 2020, and that wasn't the best time to graduate for a sports broadcasting major. So what I did was I went and I worked at a Tex-Mex restaurant as a server for a couple of months, which was a great post-grad job. And then I got an opportunity to move down to South Carolina and work for Coastal Carolina, which is our school here in Myrtle Beach, and do some broadcasting for them. And kind of got lucky with the Pelicans job. I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you the story. So I was broadcasting for the Coastal Carolina women's basketball team, and we had a lot of COVID problems throughout the season. So we had a series on one weekend get canceled. And so that kind of freed up my schedule a little bit. And the Pelicans were hosting a high school football tournament thing over at the ballpark that weekend. So somebody at Coastal reached out and said, "Hey, Pelicans are looking for a broadcaster for this little football thing going on. Like, would you like to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, this is a great opportunity for me to get to know everybody at the Pelicans over there." So I went over and I did it. I think that was December 2020. And I did the game. And I remember halfway through it, Kristen Call, our GM, comes in and she goes, "Hey, thanks for stepping in last minute and doing this. You're doing a great job." And I said, "Thank you so much. Are you guys looking for like a number 2 broadcaster, or is there any sort of opening for the baseball season?" And she said, "I'm not really sure, but send me over your stuff and we'll see." And that next morning, I think I sent it over at like 8:00 in the morning. I sent everything. Like, resume, reel. I mean, hey, just everything. And that kind of got the ball rolling. And by March, I was hired as the broadcaster for last year. So
wow,
just a crazy turn of events, but I could not be with a better team to start off my broadcasting career in minor league baseball. The Pelicans are great. And I'm excited that you guys are following along for this year.
Man, I feel like you're living the dream, right? Like the three of us, we have all our day jobs that we kind of put up with, so then we can have our little goofy podcast, on the side. And here you're calling for a minor league team. You're working your way up, and you're living in, as opposed to, Indiana. We're familiar with Indiana, but I would take South Carolina over Indiana or Illinois any day. So I can't imagine what that's like either.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach is a great spot. And you talk about the job. It's a pinch me kind of job. And actually today I took a walk around the ballpark during my lunch break. And I just was like, man, I can't believe that this is the place I get to go and work every day for the past 2 years. So yeah, it's, when you don't ever work if you love what you do. So that's my situation right now for sure.
That's awesome. Greg, you want to go next? Go ahead.
Yeah. What's the current day-to-day like with the Pelicans organization from your perspective?
Yeah, so I just started back. So it's a seasonal job. So in the off season, I go and work for Coastal Carolina. And then I started back with the Pelicans a couple of weeks ago. And right now it's just getting ready for opening day. April 12th is our home opener. And April 8th is our season opener. We play in Charleston to start things off. And it's just, updating the media guide, updating the record books, making sure the equipment, I did an equipment check today and made sure the whole broadcast works. Getting your social media graphics ready, because that's also a big part of it. So, and then you got the whole media relations side of things as well, where you're reaching out to the media and you're kind of checking in on everybody and getting ready for the upcoming season and getting ready to, get credentials out there and stuff like that. So it's a job that is much more than just the broadcast. But a lot of preparation leading up to 2022 right now.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. That just sounds like so much fun. Like I can't even imagine. Like you said, you're kind of living the dream, so I'm jealous. I'm very, very jealous.
I'm telling you, it's good. I updated the media guide. I've been updating the media guide for the past 2 weeks, and a lot of it's, kind of looking at the record books. And I did a whole big, 2 or 3 page recap of the 2021 season. And just writing it was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that game. I remember that hit, I remember that moment. And putting that on paper and getting that ready was just a cool thing. So yeah, it's been an awesome job so far. And I just cannot wait for games to get going, because it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
When you start playing on the field.
Oh, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vinny.
All right. Hey, Sam. So I kind of have an idea, but for those listening, the Cubs prospects that are at Myrtle Beach, which I'm pretty certain it's going to be an extensive list, but who should we be keeping our eyes on when we're checking out the box score? Or who should we be listening for when we're maybe listening, streaming the game on the radio?
Yeah, first off, Vinny, I want to say I love the hat. We're wearing matching Myrtle Beach Pelicans hats right now, and your bill is curved a lot better than mine is. Mine's pretty flat right now. How'd you get that curve?
The secret is I took a oversized coffee mug and stuck it in there for about 2 days. So
that's okay. All right. I like that.
That's ingenious. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
I've got too many. I've got too many flat bill hats right now that I just need to make curves. So I'm going to try that next time. I like that method.
I feel like not to bogart Vinny's question here, but I know I feel like I'm real big on flat brim hats lately. And I'm a school teacher and we had a hat day a couple of weeks ago and I wore one of my flat brim hats and my students were all telling me that I was too old to be wearing flat brim hats. So I'm like in limbo. I don't know if I'm too old to wear a flat brim, but I want to be, young and hip and everything. And they're like, no, you're in your 30s. Just wear your normal baseball cap. So I'm all out of sorts, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm sorry, Vinny. Sorry to steal your question on you.
See, I'm getting there. That's why I need a new method on how to curve the bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prospects. My goodness, we are going to have so many fun players to watch. And that's like the one thing you see around Cubs prospect Twitter is just how fun this Myrtle Beach roster is going to be. Now, of course, we don't know who's officially going to be on the roster until basically the week of opening day. It's very late in the process. But I go back to some guys that we saw last year. Ed Howard, who was the first round pick by the Cubs in 2020. Mm-hmm. He has been projected to possibly start back with us again. And he was defensively, he was awesome to watch last year. He played some short. He got moved over to second base a little bit too. The bat just never really came around, but that was something that, it's either neither here nor there because he came right out of high school and started playing against pitchers that were 3 or 4 or 5 years older than he was. So I think he was just kind of getting used to the minor league style of play. And I think he'll be a lot better this year. So he could possibly be back with us, a top 10 Cubs prospect. Owen Casey is another guy that he did not play the full season with us last year. He came on for the last, I want to say 21 or 22 games of the season. But he was acquired in the Yu Darvish trade, a second round pick by the Padres in 2020 out of Canada. And the one thing you hear about Owen, he's also another top 10 Cubs prospect. Owen's power is just out of this world. I mean, he's a big lefty that can swing the bat well. And he played some left field for us. I'm possibly going to see him a little bit at DH and maybe first base this next year too. But I mean, he hit 1 home run with us last year in those 21, 22 games. But he had a lot of pop flies that were driven out to deep center field that could have gotten out of here in any other ballpark. Our ballpark is known as a pitcher's ballpark. But he's got a lot of power. And then you talk about the guys that we haven't seen yet from Arizona. Pete Crow Armstrong is kind of the big name that people are kind of looking at. He's a top 5 Cubs prospect acquired in the Javi Baez trade. And he was drafted first round pick by the Mets in 2020. And he's got a lot of contact. Now, he played a little bit in the Gulf Coast League in 2021 before he had a season-ending injury. But he had 24 at-bats and got 10 hits in those 24 at-bats. So he is all about the contact. Oh, wow. And, yeah, the Cubs fans are going to be really excited to watch him for the first time at a full season level. And then you look around, James Triantos, a second-round pick by the Cubs last year. He's going to be possibly with us. I don't know if he's going to start the season with us, but he will, I think, definitely make a stop at Myrtle Beach at some point. Reggie Preciado is another one. Christian Hernandez is another guy. So, I mean, I was told by a Cubs prospect writer a couple of days ago, but there's some prospect lists where you look at the top 6 or 7 hitters, and they're all coming to Myrtle Beach this year. So It's just going to be a stacked group, and it's going to be really fun to follow. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun year for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and it's at least for Cubs fans, for Vinny and I, it's kind of like a different perspective because we were on that incredible run for that period of time where it was like, focus on the major league roster. It's, playoff bound. And now obviously they're kind of redeveloping, regrouping. So it's kind of cool, especially with like the single A and double A, and things like that to kind of get a feel for where you hear these names and these trades, especially when they traded all the big guys from the major league roster last year. And now you see them in Myrtle Beach and, whether they end up, progressing through the system, especially like Pete Crow Armstrong. I'm really excited to see too. And same with Ed Howard. But I guess from a media relations standpoint, I know in the past you guys have had really big success online and through social media. You have Slider the Bat Dog. You had the sign language jerseys. I believe that was last season that were really, really cool to kind of raise awareness for, American Sign Language. You got the Pirate Pelican look. What other things can we expect kind of from the Pelicans this year in terms of just exciting stuff that's coming up, things that are planned for the team or for the stadium, things like that you guys got coming up?
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of those things, and that's what makes the Pelicans such a great organization to not only work for, but go to a game as a fan. Just the game experience from a fan standpoint is just awesome. So we have a lot more things coming up, 20 fireworks shows this year, which is going to be really cool for the fans. We have a couple of Hawaiian shirt nights giveaways throughout the season. Deaf Awareness Night, which you talk about, the sign language jerseys, those are coming back. Pirate Night is going to be, so we wore the Pirate jerseys and that logo one time last year. That's going to be in every Thursday game this year after June 2nd. So
nice.
That's another thing that, I'm wearing the Pirate logo sweater right now, so I can't wait. So that's going to be in effect, but it's going to be a great season. And then, you touch on when Rizzo and Baez and Bryant all were traded away, the focus for the Cubs kind of turned toward the minor league system. And they did a lot of that by putting the affiliates on the Marquee Sports Network. We got 4 or 5 games on there last year. Iowa was there, South Bend, Tennessee were all on Marquee, and we're looking to extend that partnership into this season to get more games on the Marquee Sports Network for the Pelicans and the other affiliates. So from a broadcast side and a media side, that's going to be exciting to look forward to from that standpoint. But just so many things that are going to be happening at Pelicans Ballpark this year. And for the fans that want to come to a game, we have promo nights every single night. So Tuesday is Tacos and Tall Boys. We have a special deal there. We have Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursday. That's a staple.
Oh, yeah.
Family Fridays, Sipping Saturdays, and Sunday Fun Day. So every single game is going to be something. And it's just going to be something that's really fun to look forward to this year.
That's like 10 times more than what they do at Wrigley, at Myrtle Beach.
I'm telling you, they need to take our whole front office and move us all to Wrigley Field. So seriously, Cubs production.
I think we could probably do a road trip and go do a show from Myrtle Beach, and it would still cost us less than going to Wrigley. So I think we might have to do now that COVID's hopefully, knock on wood, over. We might have to do a little road trip. That would be a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, y'all pick the right minor league team to start getting into. It's the best.
That's awesome. Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. I love that pirate look. That's a great look. I'm disappointed that the hat is sold out online.
Oh, are we sold out? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Or if they do, there's like 2 sizes left, and they're not even close to fitting me.
So hopefully we restock those soon. I remember I picked up my pirate hat the day of our pirate game last year. And our guys came out in those jerseys, and they was just the cleanest look I've ever seen. I'm happy that we're using that more this upcoming season.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nice. I had never even seen it before. Obviously aware of who the Pelicans were, but I wasn't aware of it until one of the producers for the Chicago sports radio station, they do their broadcast via Twitch as well. And he always had the pirate Pelican hat on. And I'm like, okay, what is that? Like, that is so cool. It's so unique as opposed to not anything against the standard Pelican look, but it's just so different. It really catches your eye. So that it's so cool to see. And I know I gotta now that I'm claiming the Pelicans as my minor league team this year, I really gotta stock the closet with some gear now. So ready to go.
Well, I got one more logo to put you on. We came out with this, I believe, in 2019, but every Saturday is a Palmetto State Saturday, and our Palmetto State logo, which is the South Carolina state flag. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of put a baseball bat as the tree trunk, and then the crescent moon up in the corner. Mm-hmm. I think that's the coolest thing ever. We wear those every Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it's a clean dark blue jersey, dark blue hat, just a little bit different from our normal logo, but still on brand. It's nice.
Nice. That's awesome. Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
So during the pandemic, the team president was kind of a social media hit with the beer drinking of the bats and then sending them to the customers. Do you know whose idea that was to do it? Because that was just great to see that.
Well, that was our first home week, our first homestand of the season, and it was the Sunday game. So it was our last game of the week that kind of took off. But the funniest thing is, guys, we've been selling beer bats for 2 or 3 years. I mean, it was not a new thing. And then somebody, I believe it was we had a Saturday doubleheader, and a fan took a picture of his beer bat in the stands, and the whole thing went viral. And then the Sunday game was when everybody kind of latched onto it. And our GM, or our president now, Ryan Moore, it was all on him. I think that he was trying to capitalize on something, and he did one day after, like Barstool and everybody else picked it up. He was like, I'm going to start capitalizing on this and make it a benefit for the Pelicans. And I remember watching him that Sunday game. He was out in our beach area, which is down the third base line behind the visitors' bullpen. He was out there the whole game, and he just had beer bats, and he was just down. And it was I was like, man, this is my boss out there.
Yeah.
And down the third base line, like, it's just great. So that was the whole thing. And then we ended up winning on a walk-off home run. And there's a video of him with the beer bat, kind of like going like this as the team is all celebrating at home plate. So, I mean, kudos to Ryan Moore, kudos to Hunter Horenstein, who's our social media director, and kind of helped take that whole thing off. It was a great thing. So we love the whole beer bats, and I think we'll have them back for next year too.
It was crazy just to see like how natural that thing took off. Like, obviously, like you said, it's something that you guys have had forever. It's just a normal mainstay at the stadium. But then, like, you know, when you have Barstool get involved, and then it was crazy. Just, you know, how amazingly quick and fast that spread. And like, everybody the next day was like, oh yeah, that's you know, that's the Pelicans. That's what they do out there. It's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, the online orders that he was doing, I mean, I think if I remember right, he was asking people to Venmo him.
Yeah.
And then he would send his used beer bat. And those two, I mean, I had friends back in Indiana that were buying beer bats for DMing the GM on Venmo and sending him money for the beer bats. So, I mean, it was nationwide. I think, oh my gosh, I remember him saying, like, the night of, he was like, I want to go international. So I don't know what the farthest country we reached was, but yeah, that was just, and that's kind of our brand, is like, you know, when you try too hard to go trendy, it's not going to work. When you try too hard to make something viral, then it usually doesn't. You know, usually we like to capitalize on the natural stuff, like the beer bats, and we're going to talk about it later, but Slider the Bat Dog, you know, those are just kind of things that we do, and if they go viral, they do, and it helped us out a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, that brings me to my next question. So obviously, you know, from following all the way in Chicago, following from afar, you know, obviously, you know, we've talked about the sign language uniforms, the Pelicans uniforms. You had the bear bat kind of things take off. The other thing I've seen with the social media presence that the Pelicans have is they've, you know, really been showing off Slider the Bat Dog. And I remember the first time I saw the video, I had never seen anything like that. I remember I was so excited. I thought it was so cool. Obviously, you know, having my parents have yellow labs. I have a half black lab dog. I was like, this is so cool. You got to see this. And, you know, she was watching and she's like, that's at a baseball game. So what is how does that even happen? Do you guys have, obviously I know there's more than one bat dog, if I'm not mistaken, but like, do you have tryouts? Is it somebody that knows like the owner or the handler for these types of dogs, or how does that whole process work in terms of having a bat dog for a team?
Well, the coolest thing is, and this is something I didn't know until, you know, I started hanging out with Slider a lot more and finding out more about him, but we've actually had a bat dog since our inaugural season in 1999. So wow. I know that this has kind of been maybe a more recent thing in minor league baseball, but the Pelicans were way ahead of that curve. And we started off with Dinger, and then we got Deuce. Deuce retired in 2019, I believe. And then Slider, this will be his second full season with us, if you don't count 2021. So he started in 2019 and he's been doing it. But yeah, all have been yellow labs. And they've all had their own special tricks. I think Deuce I think he would bring out some baseballs out to the umpires and get the bats as well. But yeah, you know, I wish there were tryouts, because I would totally sit there and just grade all these dogs on their bat handling skills. But from what I've been told around the front office, when our last bat dog Deuce retired, our front office lady, Beth, who was just the best, she sent out she went on a pretty wide search around the region and was able to find Slider. I don't know what criteria she was going by, but she deemed Slider to be fit for the Pelicans, and I believe they got him from Iowa. So this was this stretched multiple states. We were able to get Slider, and he's been trained ever since, and he's been a great bat dog. He always brings up the mood in the front office. He's awesome to have at baseball games, that's for sure.
That is so cool. It's just such a unique, obviously, like you said, other teams have done it, but like, being in a market where it's primarily just, the MLB, you're not really familiar with that kind of thing. So when you see it, it's like, that is such a cool little way to embrace, embrace something different to get the fans involved and wanting to watch. And it's a really cool aspect that you guys do. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you talk about going viral. And I remember we had a game last year. It was actually our Pirate Night. So our one Pirate Night that we did, Slider went out and got the bats as usual. And usually on the broadcast, the first time he goes out, I always like to say something because the crowd always just starts going crazy. Every single time they see Slider for the first time, it's like the biggest. It's like we just won our league. I mean, everybody just starts going wild. And so I always like to make a mention on the broadcast. Oh, Slider's going out. He's getting the bat. And Minor League Baseball ended up taking that clip and they posted on their Twitter page. And then next thing I know, SportsCenter takes that clip and puts it on their Instagram. And I'm getting texted from friends. Oh my gosh, I hear you on SportsCenter talking about the bat dog. And it was something else. So thank you, Slider, for helping my boys go viral. And, he's the best bat dog ever. That unbiased opinion. He's the best bat dog.
That's great. That's great. Is he put through some sort of rigorous off-season training schedule so he's ready for the new year?
Man, picture like NFL training camp, and that's exactly what Slider goes through. I mean, it is the most rigorous. No, I'm kidding. He was. I think they just brought him back to the ballpark last month, and they're kind of doing some things, just some fake run-throughs where somebody will swing a bat and Slider will go out for it. And now this year, we're really trying to get the post-game victory lap down. So it's, when the game ends, he's got to go from first to second to third back to home. And they've been really practicing that a lot with him. So there is training involved and just trying to get Slider back into shape again, it's going to be his first full season since 2019 because he wasn't allowed back in the dugout until a couple of homestands in last year. So we got to get him back in full season form and get him ready for a big year this year.
Awesome. Very, very cool. I guess just to shift gears a little bit, obviously the Pelicans, back in the day, they were affiliated with Atlanta. They were affiliated with the Texas Rangers for a little while. Based obviously with the media relations part, I guess, can you kind of explain to us, how does it kind of work in terms of the affiliation? Is there, is it more of like a wheeling and dealing with organizations and who can offer the best, I don't know, best perks of being with a certain team or a certain organization? How does that work? How does a minor league team become affiliated with a major league team? If that's something you wouldn't mind explaining to us a little bit.
Yeah, that's something I'm still learning day by day. I mean, that is, that's a very complex ordeal. Now, I know a lot of it's geography. That's obviously why you see the AAA teams pretty close to the big league clubs. Iowa with the Cubs, right? Pretty close there to Chicago. But, I did some history digging the other day, and we were the original Durham Bulls franchise. So you watch Bull Durham, and that was what we ended up becoming because the Bulls, it was something like an expansion team, and they started becoming the Bulls, and then we went to Danville for a season and then down to Myrtle Beach in 1999. So that's how we got our start. And then obviously with the Braves, Rangers, and then Cubs. But yeah, it's all about, meeting Major League Baseball regulations, stadium wise, clubhouse wise, making sure you have good facilities. And last year, the Ricketts family actually made their first ever visit to Myrtle Beach in the middle of the season. It was Ricketts and Jed Hoyer both made a visit here to talk with some of the players and kind of see the facilities and everything. So, they care pretty deeply about their minor league affiliates, making sure that everything's up to standard. So, that's from what I understand, that's kind of how it works. We signed, I think, a big 10-year deal with the Cubs to remain the low A affiliate, either prior to 2021 or after. This is going to be a long-time partnership, which makes me really excited because the Cubs have some really good prospects that we've seen last year and then, of course, this year. So it's been a really good partnership.
That's awesome. Nice. Very cool. All right, Greg. I know Greg's got some serious stuff now.
I think Vinny's got one.
Oh, Vinny's got one more. Sorry, Vinny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. I know you just kind of got into broadcasting, graduating from college in 2020. But I guess who so far is the best game or the best player that you've called the game for?
Oh, this is a good question. I am young. I'm only 23, but I have seen the 2020 first overall pick, Spencer Torkelson. I saw him when I was in the Cape Cod Baseball League. So I was there in the summer of 2019, going into my senior year of college. And Spencer Torkelson was coming from Arizona State. And he came to the Cape League I think he came like halfway through, but everybody was really excited to see what, Spencer Torkelson when he got there, because everybody knew how good he was and the numbers he put up at Arizona State. So he came, I was there for his first game. He was with the Chatham Anglers. I was with the Bourne Braves, and it was Torkelson's first game. And I think first or second at bat, just hit a monster home run to right field. And you could tell off the bat that this guy was going to be something special. So that was a cool moment to be able to see a future first overall pick. Mm-hmm. And I look forward to seeing what Spencer can do with the Tigers. I think he's going to be brought up here pretty soon in the next couple of years. But he's definitely, when that question gets asked, he's the number one guy I think I've seen in my years of baseball broadcasting.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Sam, I wanted to ask you, I have this, a friend of mine, he used to play minor league baseball, and I was talking with him, and he never played for, but he played against teams managed by Buddy Bailey. And Buddy Bailey, obviously, the Pelicans manager, led them to multiple playoff appearances and even a title in 2016. Then he leaves after the 2018 season, but returned to manage, last season and again this season. Buddy Bailey, probably no one better to teach the game of baseball to young players. Long career in the minor leagues, 40 years experience, even 16 in the Cubs organization. I wonder if you could speak on what he means to this team and the organization, and what do you think this job means to him to keep doing what he's doing for such a long time?
Well, I think he means everything to these players that come in so young, and you talk about his experience. I mean, he was a player, he was a catcher that got converted to a minor league coach pretty young in his career. And then he's just been doing it ever since. He's the winningest active minor league baseball manager. Yes, moved into fourth place all time last year on the manager's win list. So he just has so much knowledge. And I talked to a lot of the guys last year that just loved him. And, he's not going to take it easy on him. I remember last year, the very last homestand, we only had like 2 or 3 games left in the season. And you think some managers might be kind of easing off these guys and letting them kind of coast to the end of the year, but he wasn't doing that. They were practicing sliding with like 3 games left to go during batting practice. I mean,
that is fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was awesome. I mean, I just remember looking at like, this is great. And he teaches them the fundamentals. I mean, they bunt, they steal bases, and they do things that he feels are important. Last year we had 2 walk-off bunts. And I remember we sent our big power hitter, Jordan Wogu, to the plate in a big situation with a runner on third, and he dropped down a bunt, and we won the game. So there's just some quirky things and some old school ways that Buddy Bailey kind of teaches the game of baseball. But he just means so much to these kids, and I think that's why he's been at this level. And he went up to South Bend for a little, or he went down to South Bend because we were the high A affiliate at the time. But just, get your introduction of full season baseball from a guy that's been around the game forever. I mean, there's nothing better than that. So he means a lot to these players. And I know for him, it means a lot to him. He loves this game. He loves the Myrtle Beach area, and he loves the Cubs organization. So he's going to keep doing it for a while. I hope, because I love watching him manage, and he's just a really cool guy to be around, and just to hear his stories and pick his brain is just awesome.
Well, that's refreshing to hear, especially like you said, that he's, doing sliding drills towards the end of the season. So he's not, it doesn't sound like he's a guy like that has been in the game 40 years, not afraid to get into someone's face, and probably better suited for the younger players in the minors. And I always feel like there's so many coaches, so many figures in the minor leagues that, don't have the name recognition, but are responsible for bringing along so many players that are progressing their way to the major leagues. So, it was an interesting conversation. Very well known. My friend, like I said, his name is Matt. He played from, I think, 01 to 07. So I think he met him in AA at the time. I think the Pelicans at that time were part of the Braves organization. But that's always cool to hear. And you mentioned before about Kristen Call, the GM. Obviously, fantastic to see more and more women hired in management positions across sports. We hope it continues. What can we expect from Kristen in her new role?
Well, Kristen's great, and she's a leader by example. There's no doubt about it. And my first year working for her and just kind of seeing her operate was just great. It made me a better person and a better worker for it. So she's going to be doing more of the same stuff as the GM. And part of her job, which was last year, and it's going to carry over to this year, and how long she's been with the Pelicans, she's kind of more on that media side. So I do a lot of things with her, and she's kind of overseeing a lot of that. So social media and the broadcast as well. She's kind of overseeing that, and there's no better person for it. I mean, she is a great leader and just a really fun person to work for. She makes you want to be better. So I've had a blast working for her, and I can't wait for year number 2 with Kristen. We were all really excited to see her get that promotion to GM. It was very well deserved. Mm-hmm. And she's just one of those people that, you just love to work for.
Oh, that's great to hear. Last thing I kind of want to go over this. The past 3 seasons, the Pelicans have had a record of 175 and 220. But in 2021, they finished top 5 in the league in some pitching categories: strikeouts, WHIP, ERA, hits allowed, and runs allowed. So my question is, how do the Pelicans balance expectation on winning versus the organizational expectations to develop players?
That's a great question, Greg. And it's something that I've asked multiple people that just because, it is different around minor league baseball. The Rays have their way of doing things. The Angels have their way of doing things. It's all different. But the one thing about Buddy Bailey, and the one thing he told me when I would ask him that question, is you teach players how to win. I mean, that's the first thing. You teach them how to win. And when they can do that, then you can kind of build off that. But he's trying to win ball games, and there's no doubt about it. And I know it's a low level in the system, and you're trying to develop players and get them better at a young age and kind of teach them the fundamentals and everything. But he wants to get that winning instilled in them at a young age, so they can move on and know that feeling. So it's a big part of it. When I first got to Myrtle Beach, I didn't know, kind of what the dynamic was between, do you want to win games? Are you trying to develop players? What's a late game scenario going to look like? If you're trying to develop somebody, but you want to win the game as well. So that's definitely been a question that teams answer differently, but Buddy Bailey puts a stress on winning. There's no doubt about it. But with some of our starting pitching and relief pitching, they have inning limits at this level. So they have inning limits, they have pitch limits. So you're not going to see a starter typically go past 5 innings. I don't think we had a guy. I think we had maybe 2 guys that got to 6 innings last year in a start, but you're not going to have any complete games or anything like that. It's not going to be, you're not going to have a complete game shutout or anything. They're getting 5 innings and they're done.
Sure.
But it's still a winning mentality. And this team got to taste that. We had a really good month of July and a really good month of August, and they were playing really good baseball, and you could tell they were all making each other better. So that was the whole winning aspect was behind that. So that's a pillar for Buddy Bailey, is winning ball games. That's for sure.
Well, that's awesome. And that's good leading by example. And I really like what you said about their teaching them how to win first, because I feel like that can go a long way, and then work on things in between. And, getting back to Buddy and that experience, that long career in the minor leagues. I mean, really, if you look at it, who better to have in that position,
Yeah, he gets beat up over losses, and he loves to win. So he's just like a normal manager. I mean, the Cubs wanted to develop players, but Buddy is all about getting W's on the board.
Awesome.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we have one last segment, if it's all right, Sam. We try to do some quick hits. We're going to ask you some random questions, and just first answer that pops in your mind, shout it out. And we'll kind of try and dissect a little bit about what makes Sam tick. All right. Favorite sport besides baseball, if you had to pick one?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's seasonal. So right now I'm going to say college basketball, but if you were to ask me that in September or October, it's going to be college football. So it kind of fluctuates.
Any specific, obviously I know you said you're from Indiana. I'm assuming are you a Big Ten fan, or what are you rolling with in terms of conferences?
Big East all the way.
Okay.
Big Butler basketball fan. When I was a student there, I was front row at the student section every single game. I wore a Penguin suit in the student section for no reason. So
wow, that's awesome.
A fun thing that we did. But I was a very loud voice there. So I mean, Butler is a huge basketball school. So the whole school really rallied around our men's basketball team, and it was just a great experience. So yeah, definitely college basketball right now. Butler's not in the tournament this year, which I'm really beat up about, but I'll cheer for any Big East team. I'll cheer for Villanova in this one.
Okay. Well, all right. We can roll with that. All right. Besides the Pelicans, obviously, I know that's your number one, but if you had to pick one logo, whether it's pro baseball, minor league baseball, favorite baseball logo of all time.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Well, I really like the Orioles, the logo they have right now, which is kind of a throwback. I don't know when they changed it, but I remember I went to Baltimore, I went to Camden Yards, and I watched them play the Angels. Now I'm a huge Angels fan. I lived 14 years in Southern California, so I'm a big Angels guy, but I went to go see the Angels playing in Camden Yards. And the first thing I did was get that 3-toned hat with the orange brim, the white front and the black on the back. And just such a good look. I think that might be my favorite across all of Major League Baseball.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, it is. As somebody who grew up idolizing Cal Ripken, it's always fun when the Orioles are good. So the sooner that they get back near the top of the AL East, it'll be fun for us. I know that as an outsider looking at Baltimore, it'd be fun to see. So, all right. What about if you weren't a broadcaster, what job do you think you'd have?
I've thought about that. I'm not the brightest person, self-admittedly. So I think, man, if I didn't have a voice, I don't know what I would do. I think that, all right, I'll say this. I want to be like in a band. I want to be like a guitar player if I knew how to play guitar, or a piano player, which I knew how to play piano for a little bit. But like a musician. I love music.
Oh, there you go.
And I love just kind of getting on a stage and singing. So I think that would kind of be where I would go with that.
Nice. We have not had that answer with anybody.
No, we haven't.
So that was good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can appreciate that.
I like being the wild card. So that's I'm happy you haven't heard that one before.
All right. Favorite baseball movie of all time?
Moneyball. I was talking about this literally today.
Okay.
I was talking about this in the press box with my guys up there, and Moneyball is a great movie. And what makes it even better is that the Angels won the World Series that year. So that makes that movie that much better for me, but just a great story. And Brad Pitt's awesome in that movie. So
Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, I know it's supposed to be, if it's my understanding, Jonah Hill's character is supposed to be a take on, is it Paul D. Podesta, I think is kind of.
Oh, yeah.
That character that they made Jonah Hill play is phenomenal. There's so many good one-liners. I mean, we've referenced that. The book, what did you like more, the book or the movie?
I think I made it halfway through the book. I'm more of a movie guy anyways. Sure. So
good choice.
I got to go with the movie. Yeah, exactly. I like seeing it on the screen.
All right.
Yeah. But if you guys, if you guys tune into the Myrtle Beach Pelicans broadcast this year, you'll see how many Moneyball references I drop. I mean, last year it was,
all right.
It was like once or twice a homestand. I mean, I got a lot of lines from Moneyball. My favorite one is he gets on base. I mean, that one is
yeah.
One of the famous lines of the movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'll drop those quite a bit.
That's perfect. Fantastic.
I'm going to assume now, maybe this is what happens when you assume you're a little younger than us. We're all in our early to mid 30s, but we are still avid. We refuse to grow up. We're still video game players, video game fans. So do you have a favorite sports video game?
I'm going to be basic here and say MLB The Show. That's really the only one that I think it's really the only one that I play. I mean, I play some Madden, NCAA football. I play that. But you get me on a summer night in college or something like that, and I'm back at my house and I'm just sitting back playing Road to the Show. I can play that for 4 hours, man. I'm not getting up on that couch. So I love Road to the Show and MLB The Show. That's got to be my favorite one. I'm not really good at Madden. I'm not good at 2K at all.
No.
So that's, MLB
I'd say The Show that's a solid pick.
That's a fantastic pick.
Greg's our resident show fanatic. So you definitely, you have a lifelong friend now that you mentioned that. So
absolutely.
Sure. No White Sox.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all it takes. Huh?
Yeah. See, it's amazing how quick you can turn somebody around.
Yeah,
Greg.
no, that's a great pick. That's a great pick. I actually, I think I might love the show a little bit too much that I do a mini pod on this podcast about where I kind of go over the latest MLB The Show news, because I've been a pre-order of the game for several years now, but yeah, it's like when I get to play, which is not often, it's definitely kind of like my summer video game. So
yeah,
and some of our interns last year went back on the show. I think it was MLB The Show 20, and they made a customized Pelicans team with our actual players, and they like imported the logos and everything. Like it was like pretty official. The only thing we were missing was our actual ballpark.
So which now you can do in the newer games. So Stadium Creator.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm going to do when we're not actually playing games. I'm going to
there you go.
the Pelicans in the video game.
There you go.
All right, we
fully brand them.
We got 4 more, and then we'll get you out of here. I know it's getting a little bit later on the East Coast. If you did play baseball or played for the Pelicans, what position would you play?
I'd go with third base. When I played in Little League, I was a third baseman. I played some second. I pitched a little bit, but I wasn't very good. And then I just got bored in the outfield. I was the kid that when I was like 6 years old, I'm sitting crisscross applesauce picking up the weeds. So yeah, third base, hot corner, keep me entertained, keep me in the game. I'll go with that.
Nice. All right. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah. Being the broadcaster for the Pelicans, what about you have a favorite broadcaster growing up that you grew up watching? Yeah.
So, growing up watching the Angels, I listened to Steve Physioc and Rex Hudler, who are both with the Kansas City Royals broadcast now, but oh my gosh, they were so good. And whenever I hear their voices, even if it's on a Royals game, it just takes me back to being a kid. So hearing them, John Miller for the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, there you go, Justin, your guy.
When he used to do Sunday Night Baseball for ESPN with Joe Morgan, that was such a great team. And his voice, I try and get my voice to be like his, because it's just when you hear John Miller, it's baseball. That's what it is. Yeah. So that
instantly, every once in a while, especially when the season's over and I'll be watching old games on YouTube, because that's apparently what I do. It's like, that Sunday night crew of Joe Morgan and John Miller. It's like, that takes me back to being a kid, Little League the next night or earlier that afternoon, and then and then watching Sunday Night Baseball. So good call. You can't beat that. All right. Last 2 for you. Favorite baseball stadium you've been to?
A good question. Well, biased because I'm a fan. I got to say Angel Stadium, because that place, I went there so much when I was a kid, and that just place has some special memories for me. But I was really impressed with PNC Park in Pittsburgh. I went there in 2016. I saw the Angels play the Pirates there. I went to 2 games. So I went to a Saturday game and sat in the outfield, and a Sunday game and sat down the first base line, kind of in the upper deck. And there's not a bad spot to watch a game in that ballpark. It's just so nice. The whole thing's just clean. It's just a really nice ballpark. And I know that's not a hot take. That's kind of the universal opinion. Plus you got the view out of the lake and the bridge out there, the river and the bridge out past the outfield. So that's unbeatable. So that's a good one. I like where Cincinnati plays. Great American Ballpark is good. And then, not a bad word to say about Wrigley. I've been there a few times. Been there a few times, and the environment's awesome. So I've got a few favorites.
Awesome. All right, last one, and you kind of referenced this earlier, but we'll end on this one. Who do you got in the NCAA tournament this year?
Well, good thing I got my printable bracket right here, so I can refresh myself on my picks. We're going with a pretty interesting Final Four. I don't have any 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me why, because there's no apparent reason. That's just how I filled it out. But I got the Kentucky Wildcats. I got Kentucky beating Illinois in the championship game.
Okay. All right.
So it's, I've never been very good at picking brackets, but I think this is the perfect one right here.
Awesome. Well, Greg, Vinny, anything else before we wrap up that we missed that you guys would like to jump in and get at the end last second here?
I don't have anything.
No. All right.
Nope.
Well, you go ahead, Greg. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say this has been awesome, Sam. Thank you. And go Pelicans, especially since you said you love MLB The Show. So, and I'm pretty sure you said Steve Physioc. Wasn't he, speaking of videos, didn't he do the announcing in MVP baseball?
He might have.
Oh, he might have. If he did, then I got to get that game.
And Rex Hudler, I'm pretty sure
I think Rex Hudler did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the duo did.
And I love Rex, too.
Yeah. Good crew.
I got
good crew.
I got pretty sick of Matt Vasgersian doing.
We've literally had hour-long conversations about that. Yes,
we have.
Look, I love Matty V. He's the new. He's been the Angels broadcaster now. This will be his second year.
Yeah.
I love him, but those sayings every once in a while just kind of get old.
It's
Absolutely.
when you're going on a
16 years doing the show. Now it's Boog and Chris Singleton. So new crew.
It'll be exciting to hear. Well, I guess
maybe you one day, Sam.
There you go.
So. Let's hope.
I think we need to start that. We need to jump on that bandwagon.
We're going to start petitioning. I'm going to start getting a hold of SDS, start petitioning for it.
If they do MILB the show, I'm the guy.
There you go.
They should. There'd be a lot of fun. There'd be a lot of fun involved with that.
Yes, sir.
Without a doubt. Well, I guess before we let you go, Sam, where can we find you? How would you recommend fans, get a hold of the Pelicans on social media? How can they listen? How can they watch? Give us all the details on that if you don't mind.
Sure. So Twitter, I'm at Sam_Weiderhaft. The Pelicans, let me get it up just to make sure I got it right here. Pelicans are at Pelican Baseball on Twitter, and we have a lot of good stuff coming out on social media there, and also Pelican Baseball on Instagram as well. You can check us out there. And then I'm at Weiderhaft, WEIDERHAFT on Instagram as well. So awesome. I'll see everybody on social media. But guys, thank you so much for bringing me on. This was a great conversation.
Definitely. We'll have to, you can be our East Coast Myrtle Beach correspondent if you don't mind. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get rid of us now that we've made contact with you. So I apologize in advance, but
hey, that's fine. I look forward to our partnership.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's how you can get a hold of Sam and the Pelicans. If you're looking to get a hold of us, you can find us on YouTube at Baseball and Whatever. Search all your podcast networks, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google, Anchor, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. We are rolling in that Jeff Bezos money now. Search at Baseball and Whatever. If you want to tweet us at Baseball and What, Instagram at Baseball and Whatever, Facebook.com/Baseball and Whatever. We also have the text and voicemail line at 1-913-808-3278. And if you want to email us, you can reach the show at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com. Also, don't forget, we are a part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Follow them on Twitter at Belly Up Sports. You can also see and watch our show on the Belly Up Sports Roku app, which is now available on your Roku TVs. And you can listen to us on the Belly Up Sports Radio Network as well. Our show airs on the weekend. So, Sam, thank you a ton. Vinny, Greg, thanks for joining us. We will see you guys next week on Baseball and Whatever. Take care, guys.